You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, Thursday night live call-in show. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Wayne.
And we're talking Boca.
Boca.
Pre-show, just trying to figure out lighting, and we're talking cameras. And meanwhile, I can't seem to get all mine to work, but we are here.
You got most of mine.
Yeah, the important ones.
Yeah, well, the 4K ones. A little shoddy, but anyway. People don't want to see us that good anyway.
Shout out,
Scary.
James Odak, first comment in the chats tonight. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Hey, Jim.
All right. We'll get the phone lines open here in just a moment.
Got to plug the phone in first.
There
you go. Last minute setup here.
And I really don't have any big topics this week. There seems to be kind of a dry spell.
Yeah, seems like a little
hot gaming topics this week. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the news, maybe.
I think the big one is what Fun Again closing their online store.
Yes, yesterday, Fun Again Games announcing their closure of their online store.
I mean, they had pulled back in the past too, so it's not the first time they kind of pulled back a bit. But I mean, and I think this is just the start of a trend. You're going to see this year a bunch of, I think, companies close or consolidate, or especially like the shipping and logistics companies. So
yeah, it's big impacts with the shipping that we've seen everyone deal with. But man, I did not expect that from Fun Again. I really didn't.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything. I actually have never bought from them, but I was on their newsletter, so I'd like to see all the ads and all the sales and stuff they put up. And they seemed like they were doing pretty well. I hadn't heard any bad news about it. I guess a few people had heard a few things, but it was a little surprise to me too.
I want to say that Fun Again, maybe 10 years ago, got out of their online store changed. Like they used to be big in bringing in a lot of the German games and stuff like that, and a lot of German language games, in the 2000s, and then they changed. So it's not the first time they've kind of like changed their business model, because they pulled back on selling like new games and just were doing used games for a while, and then they returned back to selling games. So I think that they've struggled with the online store a few times throughout their history a bit. I could be wrong. I seem to remember them pulling out of it for a while. So.
They used to be the sponsor of choice for Dice Tower for a while there, right? Wasn't it Fun Again Games?
No, that was
it was Cool Stuff for a while.
Cool Stuff for a long time.
But before that, when there was a podcast,
I don't remember.
when podcast was mainly it, Fun Again was their biggest supporter back then.
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, they're also a sponsor of Man vs. Meeple.
Yeah, no, we're working with them. Yep.
Yes, I wonder if that'll change.
Yeah, because that online presence.
Yeah. Well, I picked up my Vindication stuff this weekend.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I saw the pictures.
How many people showed up?
I was kind of like in and out a couple of times. I showed up like maybe an hour after they opened up the Do It. There was a few people there from Orange Nebula. And then I went back like a few hours later with the box lid to get some more signatures. So they had like the artist there, and Tom, who's, I don't know if he's like the vice president. He's like the second main guy, I guess you could say. But the president of the company, Mark, and Tom were there. And just talking with them, about the Vindication thing really quick. But then there are other new game that they're getting ready to start releasing stuff, I guess, to like show it off. They've been kind of hinting at it for a while. Spirit Fire or something like that. But anyway, it's like not necessarily a narrative driven game, but they say that like their whole line is you are the story. And it's like a game that you can decide when it ends, and when it doesn't end, you can pull it out and play it for a while. And you can take your character that you develop and bring it to somebody else's house and play in their world for a little while and then bring it back home. But it's this whole, just to hear them talk about it was, because you could tell they're so excited about the whole concept. And they said like you can just do whatever the hell you want. It's like almost like the sandbox game in a board game type setting, where like some of the examples they gave were, you could be at this lake and something happens and the lake drains, and then there's this trap door that's at the bottom of the lake, and you can walk over to it and you can decide to go into it or not, or you could like, oh, well, there's a mountain over there. I'm just going to walk over there to that mountain and see what happens. And it's like this 100% totally open-ended world. And the one thing they kept saying was there's no combat in it. And I just like Carlos's head pitched to the
cringed
side
a little bit. Yeah, like,
I mean, this is Orange Nebula.
But why?
Well, you know that, and that's the thing. They said it's so hard to pitch this game without actually showing something about the game, and they're getting ready to do that pretty soon. But again, just watching them, and you can see the passion that they have for this, and just how excited they are for it. So,
Orange
anyway,
Nebula, they also did the
Unsettled.
Yes.
oh yeah, good
So
one.
they're known for their narrative.
I mean, they're 2 for 2 in my book so far. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to see how this game works out.
Was there gaming going on at the event, or was it just most of meet and greet, chatting?
More of a meet and greet. They had Vindication set up on one table because it was kind of open to the public because I think they had extra copies of like their normal stuff.
Okay.
I didn't see any Unsettled stuff there, but there definitely were a few people that walked in that were like, oh, what's going on in here? And they're like, hey, you know, come, we'll explain what this game's all about. And another one of the guys was there. I think his name was Jared. I can't remember if it was Jared. Yeah, Jared. He was like explaining, like giving the elevator pitch to the game to people that really weren't familiar with board games or anything. So,
Cool.
but yeah, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, and I can't wait. You know, they're going to do the same thing for the new Unsettled planets when those deliver for Kickstarter
Nice.
over the summer as well. So
Always cool to schmooze and make some contacts and just find
Yeah.
out what's coming. Yeah,
yeah, and they're very personable too. You know,
that's cool.
they just took the time, and you know, we're happy to talk with you as long as you wanted to.
Yeah. Carlos is ducking under the table here to make some adjustments, so don't mind the guy in the corner. Yeah. Don't mind that guy over there.
That
Oh,
seems
just
cool.
just realize your camera wasn't plugged in, maybe? Ah, there it is. Nice. Good for a while his camera wasn't working, and just
I guess I accidentally unplugged it.
looked at the power
There
strip,
you
and there's a
go.
cord just sitting there by the power strip.
Yep, that would do it.
That would do it.
Funny.
BJ in the chat saying, "What's up?"
What's
Yes.
up, BJ? Board
Shout
game
out
BJ
to-
gives Wayne a shout out
Yeah.
for stopping
he-
by.
Yeah, BJ had a podcast show last night or the other night.
I think Jeremy Howard was a guest, right?
Yeah, so if we
Oh,
get a
wow,
weird, if we get
nice.
a weird phone call for some like George from Milwaukee or
Oh,
something,
yeah. We
that
know.
might be Jeremy Howard calling in to like he joked like BJ really talked up our show.
Oh,
like, the
nice.
show and saying how
Really?
good it was. Kind of, and Jeremy's like, oh, that sounds awesome. I got you know, it's like a sports call-in show. I'm gonna call in and be
Oh.
like George
Oh, my
from
man.
Milwaukee. And, you know,
That was nice.
Party
Long time
people.
listener, or first time caller.
Yeah. That was nice of him.
Well, thank you, BJ. We appreciate that. We really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
very
Yeah, it was
cool.
nice.
One other thing I wanted to mention real quick. So I finally picked up Mobile Markets. This is a game I've been waiting
Oh,
for
I wanna hear
for
about
a long
this.
time.
Yeah, there you go.
So I did happen to play it a couple of nights ago, but I just wanted to point one thing out on the box here real quick. I mentioned this in our Discord. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, let me make you large.
Large and in charge.
Oh,
There you
wait,
go.
All right. So if you see here,
Oh,
the
yeah.
playtime, the
60
playtime
minutes.
says 60 minutes on the front, right?
I can
Yeah.
read.
If
Sometimes.
you look at every other side of the box,
Is it 90 or 120?
it says 120 minutes on every other side of the box. Like, what is that
Nice.
all about?
False advertising.
Somebody got a little confused.
Yeah.
So, so what is it
uh,
supposed to be?
Well, see, what you're not seeing is the fine print, right?
Right.
On the sides and the back, it says with Nick.
Oh, if playing with Nick
Wow.
Oben. Yeah.
If playing with
Calling
Nick
him out
Oben.
already, huh?
Wow.
Well, that'll prompt a phone call.
Yeah.
His ears are burning now.
Here it comes. Yeah. But
Yeah.
what is it supposed to be? Do you know? Is it supposed to be 60 or 120?
I think. Well, I only we played a 2-player game, me and my friend, a couple of nights ago, and with the teach. Now, this was our first time playing.
Yeah.
I want to say it was probably around 90 minutes with the teach.
Okay.
I
For a
think if
two-player,
you what's that, Wayne?
For 2 players, so if you go 3
Yeah.
or 4, it might be.
I think if you add a couple more, I mean, there are multiple phases per round, and there are a few phases where it's simultaneous type turns. So it may not be as long as like a normal game at 3 or 4 players, but I think once you have a couple of plays down, I think the only part that you're probably going to get a little bit of AP on is when you're actually assembling your phone with the technologies before you go to sell them.
Now, is it just me, or does this one? It looks like everything I've watched that it's more complex
Seems
than
like
Smartphone Inc.
I think it is. I think
Yeah.
there's more decisions to be made in this game than Smartphone Inc. Definitely.
See, I thought this was like a lighter version of Smartphone Inc.
That's what everybody
Right, I
assumes,
thought this
think.
was going to be
Yeah.
like the Ares expedition to terraforming
Right.
Mars.
Well, it is, right? Ares Expedition is
You
just
know,
as
you're
long
right.
as Terraforming Mars.
So it's a thing now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not the roll and write version of a bigger game.
No. So like Smartphone Inc., you know, you're selling to locales, you know, the different countries and stuff. This, there are individual people that are demanding like either phones with certain features or at a certain price or both, or, you know, has to have a certain star rating or whatever. So at the beginning of the round, you know, you're putting your people are coming out. And when you get to like the phone manufacturing phase, you have like certain technologies that you either purchased or you had carried over from the previous round, and you assemble your phone, and you're trying to, you know, most likely you're trying to maximize the number of goods that you can sell. Or there, you know, there's also I call it hate selling in this game, where, you know, somebody else has probably priced their phones a little bit higher or whatever. So you're trying to hate sell to pull the people away
that's
from
the same
them.
thing in like that's regular Smartphone Inc.
Yeah.
That level of hate.
Kinda,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
That's the conflict of Smartphone Inc. is that pricing your phones
Yeah.
just below everybody else so that you can fill all those markets and sell to everyone
Before they get a chance.
before
you
they
could
get a
also
chance to
be-
put out there.
Right. And the thing with this is, as you add technologies on, your manufacturing costs are going up. So you're trying to maximize your net profit per product that you're selling. You know,
You're
so
more
like if you're
balancing.
selling phones at $5 a pop, but your technology has brought it up to $4 manufacturing costs, you're only netting $1. You know, but there's like
That seems harder. Like
Yeah, it seems
there's
like more going on. Another whole level.
there's a little bit
of,
more going
yeah.
on, but I mean, it has the what's the word I'm looking for? This isn't the right word. It has the feeling of a smartphone game, like Smartphone Inc. game, but it's not Smartphone Inc. You know, I don't know how to. There's like this whole marketing
Like
side
a
to
zoomed in version
kind
where
of.
you're more on a micro level. Instead of
Yeah, you're more on the per good level.
And isn't like the building of the phone even more detailed? Whereas in Smartphone Inc., you're just adding 1 to
You're just
6
adding the
different
right.
features.
Right.
In this one, aren't you like literally building technologies onto the phone?
Right, and you're swapping it
Not
out every
literally.
round. You
Yeah.
could be targeting every round. So like the first round, you could say, okay, well, I'm going to build really cheap phones that only have 5G, and I'm going to target all the people that I can see out here for that. And then the next round, you could be like, well, there's a lot of people out there that want this, this, and this. I can price it higher, and you know, I can take a little bit of hit on the manufacturing cost, but my net profit's going to be more per phone, and I'm going to get more people and sell more goods. So like you can, that's the part I like, is the swapping out of phone technologies every round, and you're building your phone that round, and it changes every time. So it's I enjoyed it. Definitely one that you have to probably play once or twice through to like really get a good grip on the strategies. Because I think if you've played it probably 3 or 4 times and you play against somebody that just learned how to play, you're probably going to wipe the floor with them.
Jim Odak says, play the front game, not the side of the box games. That way you get the 60-minute experience. As long as you don't play the side of the box.
Sure. Exactly. But
Glad he's paying attention.
anyway, it's a good game. I'm glad
I'm gonna have to try it out. I saw, I think it was coming out during one of the Dice Tower Retreat or something. that we
Yes,
went
it
to.
was. They had a table with it.
Yeah, that was one
Dice
of the
Tower
hot games.
East was selling it. I know that too.
Dice Tower Retreat one year, and so I had the misconception that it was a lighter, quicker version, and so I was like, oh, when they first started talking about it, I first started hearing about it, I was like, oh, I really want to play that because I really like Smartphone Inc. If this
Yeah.
is a quicker, lighter version of it, I think I could really dig that. And then I saw it set up. Some people were playing it at Dice Tower Retreat, and I was like, ooh, no, that's not what I thought it was going to be. I mean, it took up a big chunk of the table, and it looked like people were like sitting there thinking about their decisions and stuff. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe not. Maybe if I want that experience, I'll play Dice Tower. Or not Dice Tower.
There's
I'll play
a lot of
Inc.
cubes in it, and it's kind of Euro-y, so you would like that, Ron.
Yeah, I'll have to try it. And I mean, usually being a little heavier is probably more up my alley anyway.
Right.
But so I'm gonna try it. So
I don't know. There's a beauty of Smartphone Inc. the board game
Yeah.
because of its streamlined
They're both
simplicity.
They're both streamlined though.
Okay.
It's the same type of round structure where it's like, okay, this phase you do this, move on to the next phase. Everybody does, you have your boards that you're still overlapping in this game.
Yes.
Everybody does that this phase. Now you move on to this phase. I mean, it flows very nicely, exactly like Smartphone Inc.
Okay.
Which I love that flow in smartphone.
it's
That flow is so fast.
Nice.
You're like, wait a minute, it's already the fourth round?
Yeah.
All the steps are printed right there at the top of the board. Just like go there, go there, go there, go
Yep.
there. Yep.
It's all color coded.
Yep.
The purple phase deals with the technology, which matches the symbol. The blue phase
very
is
similar
logistics.
this way. Very
Yeah.
similar.
It's very well done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to try it then. Yeah, I'll have to see. Like I say, it was just something about just that misconception in my head of what I thought it was going to be, and then when I actually saw people playing it, it just kind of turned me off instantly. I was like, oh okay, no.
Give it a try. I think you would like it if you like Smartphone Inc. I think
Yeah,
you'd like
I'm a big fan of Smartphone Inc. Yeah, I think both Carlos and I both like it a lot. So, all right, yeah, we'll have to give it a shot. Yeah.
Sweet.
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm a little worried about with all those cards. It really adds that depth of complexity.
Don't worry, man. It's okay.
I'll let Rob teach it to me. How's that?
Yeah, I'll play it and learn it somewhere first. Yeah, I'll have somebody teach me. Speaking of teaching me, this weekend we've got our game day coming up, and we're going to do it over to Armada Games this Saturday, so day after tomorrow. And I know Michael Fortino, the co-owner or one of the owners of Armada Games, mentioned that he has the new Star Wars card game.
Oh, the deck builder?
Yeah, the deck
nice.
building game. And he said he's got it in the library, and I mentioned to him that I was interested in trying it. He posted it up in our Discord, and he said that if he can break away on Saturday, he'll teach it to me, and we'll get a few games in. So I'm looking forward maybe to trying to learn that on Saturday.
It's funny because we had dismissed that game so quickly when they first announced it because of the artwork. I don't know if y'all remember that. We talked trash about the artwork.
A little bit.
Oh yeah.
But then Ron Frazier played it recently and posted up about it in the Beans and Dice group and talked about how much fun he had. And then that got me like, maybe I talked too much trash too fast.
Michael was saying it's like he's compared it to Star Realms. He's like, it's kind of like a modified game of Star Realms, battling each side. I guess you have kind of like battlefields that you're battling for. So that's not quite like Star Realms, but you've got bases and things that you're trying to take out the other person's guards so that you can get to the base, which is more like Star Realms.
Man. This sounds like it's right up my alley. When I first heard it, I was thinking, for some reason, whenever I hear like an IP-based deck builder, I immediately think DC deck builder, and I'm kind of like, But with it being FFG and with it being, like you said, more like Star Realms, now I'm definitely interested in it.
Yeah, it got me peaked a little bit. I was like, ooh, okay, all right, let's try this. So he said it's pretty easy to learn. So I think he said you can play a game in 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
That's really fast.
Wow.
I don't know. That might be too fast. Beans and Dice podcast.
We'll come back to that.
Tell us why Star Wars the deck builder should be in our collection or not.
Well, this is Ron from Atlanta. As you can hear, I'm a little bit under the weather.
Oh
no.
sorry to hear that, Ron.
Oh, you caught whatever we had last
It's
week.
getting you up there in Atlanta now, huh?
Yeah, but it really is it's a great game. Now, I don't think it's super innovative, but there are similarities to Star Realms. You got your enemy bases. You have in Star Wars you have your capital ships that defend your bases, and they also can give you resources, or sometimes they can give you attack power. The capital ships stay on the board, whereas the cards in your hand and your deck, you're playing them out. You play them out to the table, getting the resources, doing the attack value special stuff, just like a deck builder. You use the cards, you discard them at the end of the turn. But what I found really neat was the Galaxy Row, is what they call it. You know, where you purchase the cards.
Like a buy
I've
road?
heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's only there's two sides: the Empire and the Rebellion, and there's also a neutral faction. But for the Empire cards and the Rebellion cards, if the card is for your faction, you have the option to buy it, right? But if it is of the opposite faction, you get to have the opportunity to do what's called a sabotage or bounty hunting mission, which is mechanically the same thing. The rebels do a sabotage mission, the Empire does a bounty hunting mission, where you can actually attack those cards, destroy them, so they can get discarded. But you also get rewards. So when you have, like, say let's say you're playing the Rebels, and there's a whole bunch of Empire cards out there. You're like, you might think, well, I don't have a lot of options as far as purchasing cards. But what you could do is you still have options to sabotage those other cards, get rewards, and hopefully build up your resources so that you can buy cards later.
I'm showing one of the cards right now, and right off the bat, before I say that, our buddy BJ says, give Ron a point for calling in. So,
Ding.
Yep, there's your point for calling in. But I got a card up here that I'm showing, and it's Baze Malbus, the machine gunner from Rogue One.
Yes.
And
with the Force is with me. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm looking at the card, and on the Rebel side, I can see the full card, the cost to buy it, all the abilities. But printed at the bottom of the card, facing the opposite direction, is the Empire side of it, and it has a reward that you gain. Is that the sabotage you're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So the Empire player can read it from their side of the table, facing them, but it's upside down for me, the Rebel player.
It doesn't benefit you, yeah. And then the cool thing is you're having to choose. So to sabotage those cards or to bounty hunt those cards, you're actually using attack power that you could use to put towards attacking your opponent or their base. So you're having to make those decisions. Yeah, instead of attacking your opponent, you're destroying some cards in the middle so that they can't acquire those cards.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really neat. And so you might want to, even though it'll be difficult, you might want to do things like, send bounty hunters after Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's been a long, long time since I could play Star Realms, but there's 10 bases for each side, and each base has a different power. Either they have a power that's on reveal or an ongoing power, and so those are pretty neat. And so you can choose which base to put up to play once your previous base is destroyed. So it's neat. It's really neat.
Yeah, this seems pretty slick. I think this is definitely right up my alley.
And then one other thing just I've heard about, Ron, you can confirm for us, is that you've got that little sideboard we saw in a couple of the shots here that you actually have. The Force. Yeah, you can push the Force.
Yes.
It's a little tug-of-war game. Go ahead.
It's a tug-of-war, right. So, there's a middle spot where it's neutral. But if the Force cube is on your side of the table, the Force is with you, and there are cards that give you kicker bonuses if the Force is with you. And that's pretty awesome.
Very cool.
I think maybe I was a little too quick to dismiss it.
Yeah.
This might go on the wish list.
Yeah, it looks pretty
neat. The artwork looks a little bit better than, I wonder if maybe they cleaned it up a bit. It still doesn't look great.
You have to lie to me,
Well,
Wayne.
it still doesn't look great. It still doesn't look great, but it does look a little bit better than the original sort of release stuff.
Yeah, they recycle some of that art. It's pretty obvious. Like, I'm pretty sure that Darth Vader art is also on the standee in Star Wars Rebellion.
Okay.
It also kind of looks like the art that was in what's the one
Destinies?
that they stopped? Destinies,
the nice one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's fine. But anyway, Yeah, I just want it was a pleasant surprise. I would say so. I ended up purchasing it. Yeah,
And this is strictly a 2-player deck builder?
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks pretty neat. Well, Saturday you can try it out.
Oh, that's right. Armada has it.
Yeah, Michael Fortino
Hey,
can teach us, and we'll
there
play
we
it.
go.
We'll try it out.
Let's get the fix out of the way.
Yeah,
Carlos isn't even going to wait. He's just going to buy it before the
I was
show's
going to say,
even
by
over.
the time, probably before Saturday, he'll already have it. And so by the time I meet up with him on Saturday to learn it, he'll be
Picking up my copy from Michael.
well, you'll
Yeah,
be beating me at it
exactly.
already, probably. So you've already played it a couple times. So
Yeah, it's a lot to ask in a couple of days. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that one up and brought it to our attention.
Yeah.
No problem. Maybe if you're lucky, you get it from a store that may have sleeves. They had promo sleeves for the release. So
oh
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Destiny's
cool.
did some of that.
okay
yeah.
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks for calling, Ron. As always, hopefully you get to feeling better. Sorry you're feeling a little junky, but
We're just getting over it. I'm just getting over it.
occasion. Yeah, it comes and goes fairly quick. So hopefully you'll get over it quick.
All right. Okay. Yeah, all right. You guys.
All right,
Take care.
Bobby.
Good
Rest
night,
up.
Brother.
Have a good
Feel
evening.
better, Ron.
So, yeah,
All right, first caller of the evening. Woohoo!
as usual.
Trying to stay.
I mean, a little
Yeah.
10 minute, 15-minute card game.
Another
in the Star
game.
Wars
Well, see,
universe.
here's what I'm mad about. I did a impulse purchase the other night,
Uh-oh.
and I
What'd you
bought
get?
Marvel Remix. I just scoop, and I'm like, okay, it's Fantasy Realms,
Okay.
Marvel
Okay.
Fantasy Realms, the WizKids game where you're starting
The
with 7
superior
cards in
game
your hand.
to Red Rising, yes. I
The
agree.
original and inspiration of Red Rising.
Sure.
Still
I
superior,
won't
in
quite
my
say
opinion. Go ahead.
superior.
Finish your story.
Don't want to hear it.
I wanted to teach wifey Fantasy Realms, but I really thought maybe the theme, and I wanted to play with the kids too, and I thought maybe the theme isn't great. It's a much used generic fantasy theme. I thought, okay, let me try the Marvel version, and that might bring the kids in a little more. It just didn't. It did not. It flopped.
It didn't get good reviews. Yeah.
3 plays last night back to back because wifey was like, no, do it again. Like I don't understand. Like the cards weren't coming out in the way that worked out. And she's like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And I was winning and I was rocking it,
No,
but
that's
I just
why.
wasn't feeling it. Like it has this whole tag system to it. Anyway, so there's my quick review. It's not making it to the board. Marvel Remix, not better than Fantasy Realms
Yeah. that's what I heard.
original, and definitely not better than Red Rising.
Yeah.
But now it's like I regret that purchase. Like I could have put that $20 towards the deck building game.
Well, maybe you'll have to sell it. You can sell
Rob, you
it.
want to buy a copy of Marvel Remix?
No. I already did my homework. Yeah. I checked that stuff out. And
He just heard your review too. So
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't help either. But yeah, if just would have asked me ahead of time, I could have told you that. Yeah, once it came out, it was getting pretty meh reviews.
Anybody else play it?
No.
All right. Well, I'll tell you the issues with the game that I have is it added a tag system, which Fantasy Realms doesn't have. So every character has tags on it.
When you say tag, what do you mean?
Like Terraforming Mars, like Mosaic or the Arc Nova.
Yeah.
Just little icons, right? Circular icons, tags that mean different things. So like agility or nuclear.
Okay.
Or
Nuclear? Nuclear.
Not
what are you
the
from?
word.
All of a sudden you're from
figures.
Texas, man.
Nuclear. Anyway,
side story. I called into a talk call-in show years
Oh,
ago.
I've heard this one.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Actually, you remember Hannity and Combs back in the day? Wayne, you might remember them, but Combs made fun of me for the way I said nuclear.
Oh, really?
Before he passed away, he made fun of me for how I said nuclear.
Look where this one's coming
That's
from.
great.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
It's Jim Odak from Tampa.
Hey, are you gonna go nuclear on us?
Nuclear.
What?
He wasn't listening to the last 30 seconds, but that's all right.
Take it away, Odak. Show's yours.
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of lag. I probably didn't hear what you guys
That's all right.
you were talking about. Hey, have you guys, I think I missed a bit last week, so have you talked about Escape Winter at all yet?
We're going to talk a little bit about it tonight because we're going to do our big board, and most of my stuff, or pretty much all my stuff, is going to be from Escape Winter. But no, we haven't really gotten into that.
You can tell us your experience.
Well, number one, I was disappointed because Carlos wasn't there.
Yeah, it was a birthday weekend, a family birthday weekend. Things got real tight schedule wise, and I had to make some tough decisions. I had to rest up, heal up before I can take care of myself, so I can take care of the family.
There you go.
It sucked.
Yeah, suffered a little back injury, just for anybody who doesn't know. So he was down for most of Saturday when he was planning to come up, so he didn't get up there.
I think I'll share that with y'all today, a little bit about the history on that. But go ahead, Odak. Tell me what I missed.
Well, a nice game of Tapestry.
Yeah. Even though
I won't steal Rob's thunder if he's saving that for later.
No, that's fine. I wasn't gonna. I actually wasn't gonna mention Tapestry because I didn't get to play that game. I actually gave up my seat. I gave up my seat for James. There was three new people. I think it was 3 new people learning to play, and I was gonna play and teach. And then James walked in. I immediately knew it was one of his preferred games, and so I said, Jim, if you want to come sit down, I'll give you the seat. And he graciously was like, no, if you've already are going to play, no, that's fine. I'm teaching. I already committed to teach. I'll teach and watch. That's fine. So
cool.
Yeah, good experience. And I think everybody who learned the game, all 3 of the new players, really enjoyed it. But go ahead and tell us your take on it.
I enjoyed it. It was actually the first time I did the space exploration.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, that's a hard one to push over there. I've only done it once, but...
Made it all the way to the end?
Yep.
Yeah. Made a come-from-behind victory.
Now, you've had a chance to play Mosaic, and I'm bringing this up because, to me, the two kind of correlate a little bit. Which one would you put over each other, Tapestry or Mosaic? Who's the winner? Cage match, Thunderdome.
I don't find them... Oh, Mosaic for sure. I don't find them very similar.
I agree. I don't think they're similar at all. But
in mechanisms, I don't think. But I think in what they're trying to do, civ building.
One's pushing cubes on tracks.
Well, I think that's how they chose to do it.
Yeah.
Now, you telling me you're not pushing tracks on Mosaic?
Oh, you're not building a civ. I feel in Mosaic like I'm actually trying to build a civilization. Stuff is stacking. I'm putting down cities and towns and things. In Tapestry,
you're putting down outposts.
Outposts?
Yeah, which are like your cities. You're putting out outposts, the little standing pillars.
Is that what you call those, outposts?
Yeah, those are called outposts.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the main map. I thought you were talking about the little side map thing where you're building your.
Oh, that's your main city.
Your capital city. Yeah.
That's your main city.
Right. Okay.
And then you're putting out the little outposts to expand.
You don't have to. And actually, one of the players in the game did not expand one time in their whole game. They stayed just on their starting square. So,
that's because Tapestry has chosen to not do it as well as Mosaic.
it's different. This is more about pushing stuff along tracks.
Who designed Tapestry?
You know who designed Tapestry.
Same guy who did Red Rising, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Zingo!
Anyway, back to Jim.
I feel like Tapestry is more of a research development game than it is a civ game.
I agree.
More of a tech game, you think?
Yeah, it's about building. Building stuff on top of each other. Mosaic, you're just kind of spreading out your area control, your different feels for me completely. Yeah.
Yeah, like Mosaic isn't like the 3 X's, explore, exploit, or whatever.
Expand, exploit, exterminate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even like that. I think it's a little bit of a lot of things, but I enjoy it much more. I think it's more comparable to something like Terraforming Mars.
Ooh, hadn't thought of that comparison, but I'll have to ponder on that one.
Well, you're putting cities down. You're putting things next to the cities to get more points.
It is kind of area control. Yeah, you're kind
of. Is it a engine builder type? Also, does it have engine building?
Mosaic.
I don't know if I would call it engine building.
You're matching tags.
Well, you got
your tableau.
Yeah.
You're placing cards in a tableau, but you're really doing that mostly for the tags.
They don't really build off of each other.
Very few of them
the resource
matter once you play them.
Yeah.
The majority of them, you're just playing it for the tag, and it's one-time ability. It pushes tracks. Every card pushes a production track. That's where I see the track pushing. Okay, good conversation. I like it.
Yeah.
Good answer, though. Mosaic over Tapestry.
I didn't get a chance to play Mosaic at Escape Winter.
Yeah.
Because they had the retail version with the cardboard pieces.
You didn't want to touch that?
I don't know. Well, it's because I've learned it and played it with the other pieces. I didn't want to sit down and relearn what the pieces were on cardboard.
You know, I disagree. The cardboard has the text for every piece on it.
And then
It's like I feel like I have to ask what is what in the deluxe version because everything's a mini, whereas every infantry, every cavalry, every siege engine.
Those are the easy ones to tell. The only place I would agree with you is on the cities, the towns. I can't. It's hard to tell a manufacturing town from a what are the others?
Farming town, port city from a regular
But, I
city.
mean, your cavalry is the guys on horses. Your infantry is
sure?
the guys standing there with the swords. So,
Is that how that works?
It's pretty easy to tell.
Yeah, but then I have to be like, is that a settler or is that an infantryman? Right, because the population figures.
One guy's got a sack over his shoulder. Sack on his shoulder. Anyway.
A satchel of riches.
Yeah, exactly.
There's valid points to which everyone is better. I just didn't want to relearn it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, it could be a thing. Yeah.
You're wrong. That's a game worth doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're allowed to be wrong. It's America. You get the right to be wrong.
So, what are your other thoughts on Escape Winter in general?
So my big thing from Escape Winter is I joined a game of Cthulhu Wars,
Oh yeah.
and I ended up playing it again 2 nights later. I really enjoyed that game.
That's a fun
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it is a good game. I think, if I remember, it was either you or I think it was you that had asked me ahead of time. You had mentioned that you had signed up for a game of it,
Yeah.
and I told you that I had played it actually at Dice Tower years ago. I think it might have been Muhammad or somebody from our group had signed up for a game ahead.
It was
of time.
the 3 of us that played.
Were
I
you in
played
it as well?
I played in that
Okay.
one too. The guy
Yeah,
had
okay.
like all the expansions and everything
Right.
for it.
It was right
yeah.
after the Kickstarter had come out, the year
Yep.
after the Kickstarter. He kickstarted the whole thing and got everything. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was gonna. I usually just don't like those big dudes on a map kind of game, but there's enough going on there with building up your spell book and trying to accomplish little mini tasks on the way to the big task. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Odax, sell me on this game because I've seen it and I know everyone keeps telling me, "Hey, Carlos, this would be right up your alley."
Yeah.
And it looks like just a big Risk game, and I'm like, why would I want to play more Risk?
It's very asymmetrical too. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
So
to cut you out there.
on first look of it, anytime I see a bunch of dice, I'm like, oh god, I don't want to play that.
Yep.
And I got to say, the dice rolling was not a thing. I think they kind of make dice rolling not a big deal by smothering it with a lot of dice.
That's the right answer. If you listen to like Engelstein,
The more dice
professor
you
of
throw,
gaming
the
science.
more, the more return to the median you get.
Yes, you chuck buckets of dice, you're gonna get a flat curve. Oh, that's not even a word.
A flat curve. That's a
You're gonna get a true bell curve.
There you
And jumbo shrimp.
Well, you're
Side of
partly
Jonathan.
right. Yeah, you'll get more of a. You won't get a crazy swings in your curve. You'll get the true.
Yeah.
The more dice you roll, the less random the game is.
And it's not a big part of the game. It's not like, God, if you can't roll, you're not going to win. You know, it really isn't. It's more about those. This might be the most asymmetric game I think I've ever played.
Oh yeah.
It's very
To me, it almost, it's like Rising Sun, but like everybody has like radically different powers. And it is really a thinker towards the end because you really got to know what everybody else can do because they can drastically change your game.
In this game, when you play with a full count, I know when me and Mike and Muhammad played, I can't remember, there was 8 or 9 or 10 people in that game. I mean, we were all around a big old table, and it is definitely about temporary alliances. It's about working with different people at different times. It reminds me a little bit of Thunder Alley, which we actually played. Jim didn't get in on it, but we played it at Escape Winter, and just these little temporary, like, hey, all right, I'm going to help you do this thing here, and then you agree to attack me next round, and because this guy, looks like he's ahead, so we're going to team up on him for a little while, and so it really kind of gives me that feel.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and somebody I think we all know might be selling it. Depending on the price, I may actually dive into that.
Yeah, because you can't really find this one.
Yeah, it's tough to get.
I think the company that actually they did and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, their last Kickstarter, which was a while ago, they still haven't delivered on it, and I don't think they're going to personally, if they haven't already.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a bunch of Kickstarters not be delivered this year.
Yeah, I think
companies just be done.
Yeah, they're running into financial issues, but
And like you said, Jim, I think I can confirm that that there is somebody in our Beans and Dice group that is going to be letting go of this. I don't know if it's public yet, so we'll hold off on naming names. But yeah, I think a copy of this is about to be available. So yeah, if you want to jump in, or somebody in the group wants to jump in on it, it's going to be available soon. So.
Nice.
Last thing before I let you guys go, I finally got my copy of The Great Wall.
Nice.
Saw the pictures.
Really love that game. I'm a little disappointed in a couple of the expansions.
That the way they look or the way they play. You've had a chance to play with them?
The way they play.
Okay.
The Ancient Beasts, I think, feels like to me it was a money
Grab.
move. Yeah. Because they really did such little impact to the game.
Was it a
Nice
Kickstarter?
looking miniatures. Yeah.
Oh, makes sense.
Money grabbing a Kickstarter. Imagine that.
Shocker. I'm
Carlos,
shocked.
hater of Kickstarters.
Hey, I just game founded a couple games, or pledged, or Patreoned, or I can't even remember what they were called. But we'll talk about that later.
Ooh.
Actually, Odak, one of them you might be interested in. I late pledged for Burgundy, but we'll talk about that after you tell us more about this Great Wall.
Jim's all in on that, man. He's like me.
Yeah. I didn't do the big pieces though.
Oh, you didn't do the
For
minis?
the Burgundy.
All right.
I did the minis.
The whole minis? Like all
I
minis?
like the
No, not all the minis. Not like the animal minis. I just want the castles,
You just the Sundrop Castle minis? Yeah.
and then the neoprene mat
So you did the Royal Pledge.
something.
Yep.
Something stupid. But they say they're delivering soon, so I'm counting on that.
May, June, probably.
Yeah, which will end up being January of next year.
Probably.
Will it disappoint you like Great Wall did, or did Great Wall even disappoint, or is it just the expansions
loves
that
it.
disappointed?
I still I hadn't played it with the expansions, and I was hoping for good things from them. And the Black Powder, I think, is fantastic. And the Kickstarter stuff, I think, was the bonus stuff was pretty cool. But I was really the Ancient Beast. I was just like, God, I feel like I got taken on that one.
30-second elevator pitch on Great Wall. What is it? What are you doing? Why should we play it?
I love the mechanism, the turn mechanism, right? So everybody has a deck of cards which have certain actions on it, and they all select one at one time, and you put them out, and in turn order, they go over. Each card, you get your own actions, then everybody else does something. I like that in a game because there's not much downtime.
What do you mean you get your own action and everybody else does something? Like Puerto Rico style, where I pick an action and I do it, and everybody else gets to play off that action?
Yeah, they get like a lesser version of that action.
Okay, so very Puerto Rico-ish, TI4-ish. I like that. That's a great mechanism.
Yeah. And then just I like the whole wall, castle, siege theme, and I'm a big fan of ancient Chinese genre, Three Kingdoms and whatnot. So it really hits it for me.
And this is what, semi-cooperative? Is that right?
Yeah, I call it competitive cooperative.
Okay.
Right. You all got
Also known as semi-garbage?
Wow.
He's on fire.
You all have to work together to survive, but you are trying to score more points than everybody else.
Okay.
So we played with Will. There was a moment where Will decided to do something that could have helped all of us survive. And nope, he went over somewhere else.
Don't count on that.
And that's what I mean. Like, one person not playing it right could ruin it for everyone. Like, we either all lose together or one of us wins. And those games are I struggle with those games.
I don't like them.
I think a lot of times, like I play games like this. Like I remember, what's the zombie one where it's semi-cooperative?
Pandemic.
No, like the I forget the name.
Winter,
something like that. Yeah, it's like
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
not endless winter.
Anyway, regardless, a lot of semi-cooperative games when I played them before in our group, we remove the and somebody wins. It's just we make it cooperative, and it's like that we don't make the decision that screws over everyone just to get you the win. like first rule of semi-cooperative is you all have to win, and then somebody can just be the champion.
The win
night,
more.
the champion of the night or something like that. Dead of Winter. There we go. BJ
Dead of Winter. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one Carlos still hasn't played.
What?
I'll bring up the story.
Mike
We
says
set
it
up the
every
game
time.
day
Yeah,
on my
set up
birthday,
it every time.
and Barry Kreitzer canceled the game day because he was going to be the third
Yeah.
player.
It just blows my mind that you still have not played that game.
I got another birthday coming up in October, so maybe we can make it happen.
So next time, or Lorenzo's in town.
We gotta get like a room for the day somewhere, right? Like a hall.
Just
Is
play
that
it over and over and over
Is
again.
that one of the rules of the game? That has to be somebody's birthday to play it?
I don't know. I just thought it worked out great. Like it was my birthday game day. It was October. It's Halloweenish. But no, it didn't work out.
Yeah. We'll play it. We'll get it in sometime. You own it, actually, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you own it. It's just
I
on the
punched
shelf.
it.
Yeah.
Read the rules.
Never played it.
All right, Odak. So Great Wall. It's going to come off my desire to play. Now that you describe it as a semi co-op, I haven't been in the mood.
It
for
does
that.
have a full co-op version. I haven't tried that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not a full co-op tech kind of guy, so
You don't play well with others like William.
Yeah.
I don't understand humans.
William does not play well with
Hey, William
others.
has the link. He can come defend himself at any time.
Yeah, he can pop in the show. Yeah.
Just like he
All
was
right,
a trainer in Shadows of Camelot a couple weeks back.
Yeah. The whole
Odak, will we see you this weekend? It's our Saturday game
don't
day at
know.
Armada.
I don't know.
Okay. And if not, we'll see you next month, I'm sure, at your turn.
You will not be seeing me. I have my spring golf tournament that day.
Oh, nice.
But there is the Wesley Chapel Board Gaming Group on the 18th of this month. So
Yeah, the following Saturday.
Yeah, Nick Oben's group.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Like
okay.
it's the same day as the golf tournament.
Oh, second Saturday of April.
He was talking April's.
We'll be at
big
April.
dice.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at a month ahead.
All right, we'll get some Mosaic to the table with the cardboard.
Yeah, and y'all were talking about what 6-player Mosaic. I know I've played with 5. I don't know if I've played with 6.
I haven't done 6 yet.
Yeah. Okay. You have to give that a shot.
I do. I want to see how crowded the board is. All right, sir. We appreciate your call.
Last thing before I go, are any of you familiar with the new Kickstarter Huang? Chinese?
I did see that it posted. Isn't that a reprint though, like a redo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the old game. As I mentioned, I like that genre, so I was just wondering if you guys had any thoughts on it before we.
William probably knows all about it, but he's not on tonight. So
No, he loves Japanese.
Yeah, try again next time.
It's the redo of the Rhino Knizia game. Let me pull it up here. I was listening to a
Tigers and Euphrates.
podcast.
Oh, yes, I know.
Oh,
Okay.
Tigers and Euphrates. Oh,
Yep,
Yeah,
it's just
okay.
rethemed.
Yes. This is
like all the same rules, or are they making some rule tweaks?
I think it's just a retheme from what I've heard. It's yeah.
I think the
I didn't like-
crowdfunding ends tonight, actually.
I didn't love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't like Tigers and Euphrates?
I didn't. I wanted to play that for a long time, and then actually it came out on BGA, and I played it twice back to back on BGA. I don't know. There was just something I didn't love about it.
It's a weird one. I'm not a huge fan either.
Yeah. It's almost abstract, but it's not abstract. I don't know. Yeah, there's something about it that I just don't love. I can't put my finger on it.
All right. Well,
But hey, it's Dr. K.
Yeah,
he's awesome at just about everything he does. So if the Chinese theme is right up your alley, Tigers and Euphrates is already an established, well-known title.
Yeah,
I say go for it, Bobby. You got my blessing. Let wifey know. Carlos approves.
Carlos approves.
And all in.
Now the only thing I'll say is it Tigers? No, never mind. I'm thinking it's a different game. Tigers and Euphrates is really a game though. Is that the one that's only really good if you have the full 5 players, or is that something else? I might be thinking of something else, but
yeah, I don't know.
It's not a very good game at like 1 or 2 players. You need like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't think this one scales very well. I would think it would definitely be better at higher player counts. Both times I played it was at I think 4 players, and I don't think the board gets any smaller with fewer players. And this is one that you want some conflict. You need to run into other people to try to like it's this whole tile laying, almost abstract. It's the order that you put things.
Dr.
down.
K.
And, yeah,
Anything that he does, you're slapping a theme on.
yeah, pretty much. That's it. This could have been anything. But anyway,
All right. Have a good night and a good show, gentlemen.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for calling,
Appreciate you. All right. Anybody got comments on what James put out there? What Jim Odak put out there? Any banter from the Peanut Gallery?
On what part?
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
of it?
yeah.
Any comments on what he talked about? This is where we get to talk about what he talked about.
So I missed a little bit of the Escape WinterCon. I had to take a quick phone call from my parental unit. My mom. She's all freaking out that we're traveling next week. She's like, "What are you doing? Do I have a key to your
guys
house?"
are going to London.
Yeah. But no, I've heard really good things about Escape WinterCon. So I've Beans and Dice crew posted some stuff, and there's a YouTuber, the Bones Collector. He goes to all the cons, and he posted at the View. Basically, everyone agreed. The con was great. The game room was great. The games were great. The hotel sucks.
Yeah.
So hopefully Patrick gets a new hotel for the future.
I think it's been confirmed. The Escape WinterCon Facebook page.
Yeah.
He did post on there that next year it will be a different location.
What?
And he will
was
be
it at
posting
the-
that up soon.
Was it at the hotel, same hotel that we were at?
Yes,
Last time
and
I went.
Listen, yes, Popeyes.
It's got so many bad reviews though. Like, what's funny is the
It's a pretty
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm
The
sorry.
nonprofit that I'm involved in, that's like all the southern states, is planning their next conference for next year in Orlando, like in February. And one of the sites that came up in the site selection meeting was that hotel, and it was like super cheap and it was blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure a bunch of my friends just went there for a conference,
Yeah.
and everyone did not like it. And so then they went in like the Google reviews, and it's not lately just been getting horrible reviews. So, but
It's got to be post-COVID. Pre-COVID, we went and it wasn't terrible. Rob, you stayed with us. You stayed in my room.
I think it's your typical cheap hotel. Just
cheap
don't
hotel.
expect a
Yeah.
lot.
Right.
It's you're
But I mean,
getting
I was looking at some of the reviews were talking like, bed bugs and like just like
Yeah, there was none of that when we went there.
and, yeah, so
Yeah, it's
It was just old Florida.
It's a little rundown. It feels old. It feels like an old kind of cheap hotel. It's not. I didn't feel unsafe. I stayed the night with Dan.
Yeah.
This year I crashed on his floor, and it didn't feel like again. It didn't feel unsafe. The place I stayed when I just did the golf tournament here last weekend was a whole different story. That was I feared for going outside after about.
Was it
sunset,
as
but
bad as that place that I put us up?
It was worse
on our
Yes,
trip to Atlanta?
It was worse. Yes,
Really?
Yeah, it was bad,
Dude, because I slept with my gun the whole night. That place, like
Rob
I
was
was
walking
afraid.
around with his 9-iron the entire time.
Exactly.
I was telling Rob, if something goes down, you better duck because I'm just popping off.
It was,
And it was worse than
it
that?
was worse than that. Yeah.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, I felt a little unsafe at this place, and I was there by myself. But anyway,
but
it
I was
was
gonna say
nothing
you
like
don't-
that for Escape Winter. But
yeah, you're not going to judge. I generally don't judge a conference on the hotel, because often I know what it takes to book these things for conferences because I do a lot for my professional job. And it's you never know what you're going to get, and you really can't blame like the hotel rooms on the con. So you have to look at Escape WinterCon. They can control the game room, they can control the games, and the look
And all that is
those
great.
things-
The
and all that is
location,
great, right?
Right.
Just the location didn't work out, so hey, we'll change next year and go somewhere else. And that's basically what I've heard from everyone: is the con is great, the location was bad. So,
But the
And
food,
you,
man. Go
you
ahead,
also have
Mike.
to factor in like you're trying to make it cheap enough where everybody's actually going to
Right.
want to go and
Gonna wanna
can go.
Right.
So you got to find the hotel that's going to give you the deal on the room.
and let me tell you, hotels are really expensive now. It's
Right.
insane.
But there
Like, you
are
don't
a
even
lot
know
of
what-
good restaurants, though. I
Yeah,
will say that.
if you go to like a conference and they provide coffee for the attendees, you don't even want to know what I mean, generally it's $90 to $120 for a gallon of coffee when you buy it directly from a hotel for like a conference. So like if someone's putting out coffees or cookies or snacks, it is insanely expensive now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got some more comments, but we got a caller, so we'll go to that next.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Sam from Tampa, Zephyr Hills area.
Hey, Sam, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Good. How's it going with you guys?
Going good. Going good. What's going on
Things are well.
in the gaming world with you right now?
I just called to defend the Great Wall.
Oh,
That
there you
is-
go.
There we go.
All right.
Good. There we go. Step up.
Like you're physically defending it right this moment? Or
standing on the Great Wall.
I'm physically, I'm in China.
Okay.
So who's played it on the channel?
None of us.
Anyone?
Apparently.
I don't think any of us know.
Carlos was just sight unseen,
No?
just trashing the game, so go after him.
Listen, I heard semi-co-op. Okay, I make no excuses. I hear semi-co-op. Rob's with me.
Yeah, that automatically turns me off. It doesn't mean I won't play it, because as Carlos knows, I've played
Nemesis
twice. Hated it both times, but I've played it twice. So I'm never against playing a game. But when I hear somebody co-op, immediately I have negative thoughts.
So I am not a co-op girl. I'm not a semi-co-op girl. And Rob, the second time we played Nemesis together,
Yeah.
at Armada, and I did not enjoy it.
Oh, yep. I was
That's
there.
not. That is not my thing either. But the Great Wall is amazing. It's a Euro game,
Okay.
and it's not really semi-co-op. So that's why I was calling to defend it.
Oh, good.
Everybody is defending the Great Wall together, but everything you do is selfish. So Will, to me, wasn't that selfish with his decision that he made. But when you send your soldier out to the Great Wall, wherever you put him, you get points. Whenever he dies, you may get something. So my character was, every time a person died, I got points. So I wanted all of mine to die.
The Loki
so I
strategy.
sent mine out there. The Loki strategy, expecting him to die so that I can get points. So I don't really feel like it's semi-co-op. I know we're all defending the wall, and we'll all get something if we don't defend the wall. But have you guys ever played After the Empire?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just like that, because yes, you are pretty much defending your wall so that you live. You may get shame, but it doesn't matter if you get shame for not defending the Great Wall, because you may have this thing where you get lots of chi, and you can throw chi at the shame and get rid of it.
I love cheese.
So you may not care. So that's where Will was.
Jeez.
Will was like, hey, I don't care if you guys get shamed because or I get shamed and you guys get shamed because I got chi to throw out there.
So almost like the troll in Champions of Midgard,
Oh, yeah.
where somebody's got to defend the town against a troll, and if someone doesn't, everybody gets some blame, or the person that does
Perfect
do it
analogy.
can distribute the blame.
There you go. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so it's not quite
So
semi-co-op.
it's semi-co-op. Yeah, it's semi-co-op in the same way that Champions of Midgard is semi-co-op. It's not.
Not very. Right. Exactly.
You just
That's hopeful.
you have a
then.
common goal. Yeah, you have a common goal. So I totally think that you should give it a try. I think that you would really enjoy it. I think all of you guys would.
Yeah, I
It's
told
a
Jim-
Euro game.
I told him I definitely would play it, and I've heard Euro a lot with that, so I love my Euros. So I'm definitely looking forward to trying it sometime.
Did you?
And that's the second time I played. I played with Nick the first time. We
Yep.
played 4-player, and this time we played 5-player. And yes, towards the end there was some downtime with the 5-player, and I was kind of like, ugh, a little bit, but it was so good. It's so good when you have 5 players. And the
You sure it wasn't downtime because of Nick?
Nick.
Could be.
No,
No?
it was the other game where I had more downtime. The 5-player game. Nick was a 4-player game, and it was Jim. And Will. It was a 5-player game.
All right. So when you played this game, was it the full like blown out, plastic everywhere, or was it the cardboard wall pieces?
The first time, all of them, both of them were cardboard walls, but the first time Nick's copy was not the plastic minis. And then Jim got the plastic minis and incorporated some expansions. And I really liked the expansions that he put in there. I felt like it definitely added to the game. I think he included maybe 3 expansions, and I felt like it really added. The first time with Nick, it was almost too easy to defend the wall. And this second time with Jim, with that extra expansions that he added, it was harder to defend the wall. And I really like that. Like, I want a challenge. If we're all working together at the same to defeat these people, make it hard, especially because I get glory for beating these people.
Okay.
And would you say like physically playing the game, was it fiddly? Like, were pieces toppling over, or did everything seem to be pretty well
manageable,
put in place? Yeah.
Yeah, I felt it was manageable.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't feel like it was
All right.
fiddly. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Cool.
Well, I definitely want to try this one.
But you really should. definitely not semi-co-op. When I heard that and you like didn't want to play because of that, I kind of cringed. I was like, I need to call and defend this.
Oh,
I
good.
think, I think Jim has corrected his stance. He was trying to talk about it's competitive co-op. So in that you have to defend the wall, but you're still doing it individually based on your own scenarios and unique powers. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yes. I knew what Jim was trying to say, but I felt it accepted differently than what he meant. So
Well, that's good. I'm glad
why.
you clarified then, because that helps. Yeah, I mean, like I say, that semi co-op, just that whole term, just automatically is a little bit of a cringe for me, like you said. But yeah, like I say, I kept hearing people say Euro, and so I was like, a semi co-op Euro, that doesn't seem to quite match up. So, and I told Jim I wanted to play. I told him, I said, once you get it, let me know. We'll set up a day. We'll get a play in. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's really good. I think you would like it way more than Ankh for sure.
Okay, good. I'm not a huge fan of Ankh, so yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you definitely will.
Good.
But that's about it. I just wanted to call.
Well,
say
and Sam, just off topic, you we had posted in the Discord channel the most recent Dice Tower history thing, and you've gone through and went all the way back and rewatched the entire series. And so I just wanted to get your opinion as someone so I've watched that, or I've been watching Dice Tower for, I don't know, more than a decade. What did you think of going back and sort of seeing the history of the Dice Tower and learning some stuff that maybe you didn't know because you started watching them later, more recently, or what are your thoughts on that?
So I did, and I've gone back and I've watched him, but I didn't realize how long he lived in Korea. Like, I knew he lived in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how long. Of course, I heard how many kids he had, but I didn't really know about 3 kids really had issues, but as you know, the 2 passed. So I didn't really know that. And then Sam, I had no clue how long Sam had been with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wow, they were together a long time. And man, he has put up a struggle, and, it doesn't sound like even today he makes a lot of money off of that. Like, he puts everything back into it. And I was wondering today, because I, caught up because he released a new video today, and I was thinking, what kind of the type of person that it takes to do that, to put that much time and effort into it, and just keep putting back and knowing that he has a family of 6 and not taking more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get it.
How
it makes
you
no
gotta
sense.
really
to me.
love it. You got to love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, and now he's got his house, his personal house. Now he's got the mortgage on the Dice Tower house,
right?
And just sort of how they've sort of grown too, and they've got 5 or 6 employees now, and you got to assume that you got to pay people a living wage, and Miami's not a cheap place to live in general, right? So, it's interesting. I haven't watched the history of Dice Tower in a long time. Like, I don't know, he did it 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, so I watched them when they came out originally, you did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching the Dice, and so you forget sort of. It was what I found was interesting is some of the Beans and Dice crew in Discord going, "Oh wow, I didn't even know about this or that and whatever." Yeah. And I think Michelle was talking about she knows about the Jack Vassell Memorial Fund, but didn't know the history behind it.
Right.
And watching that Dice Tower history, it kind of hits home differently. So it's kind of interesting that. I think that and Jamie Stegmaier and his books and Opening the World, I think it's interesting when you get a behind the scenes look at what it takes to really be successful in this industry. And it's not easy, whether you're a content creator or a board game publisher or designer or whatever. It's man, it's a struggle. You got to really love it,
Yeah.
So the old joke is
the lack of funds.
Right.
Me.
Just a quick question. Did he?
But,
oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, did they mention on in that history about how Amazon does the smile thing, like they'll donate money? Did they talk about that? Did they have the memorial fund for?
They did, yeah.
son?
I think.
Okay.
But Amazon Smile is gone now. So
what? Really?
Yeah, Amazon Smile is no more.
Oh, I thought it was still around. Oh, well.
No, they that's a recent thing. They just sunsetted it because I just got a notice because I did the Jack Vassell for a number of years, and then when I had a child of my own, his elementary school had a Smile account, and we just got an email maybe a month or so ago that Amazon was paying everyone out through June of this year, and then sunsetting it. It's gone.
Oh,
so after that, yeah.
Oh well.
So, yeah.
That makes sense. They're kind of hurting financially like everybody else. So
yeah, if they're laying people off and stuff, that's Yeah.
But it was interesting. I found it. I always think that like the Dice Tower's been around so long, and I've been board gaming so long, so it's just been a part of the industry for me for so long. But new people, or even people who have been board gamers for years, may not have really know all the background of the Dice Tower, and not just the Dice Tower, but all the other board game, the content creators. Like you read about Man versus Meeple, or the various things like that. So it's just always interesting to learn and remember that there are new people every year getting into the industry, and they may start watching a show and not know anything about the background behind it, which is kind of cool. So anyway, cool. Appreciate that, Sam. Thanks.
And also, how many opportunities he turned down, like with the Board Game Geek, because I was watching the Murph Brothers, and they do content for, Board Game Geek, Board Game, it's Board Game Geek, BGG, how they do stuff with them. And I believe they've exceeded the views, haven't they, of Dice Tower? How many views they get?
Yeah, well, they also picked up Watch It Played. Like it's
interesting.
They have a few strong content creators under the BGG group.
Yeah.
Yep, Game Night.
And it makes you wonder, did Tom Vessel obviously he made the choices he wanted to make, but I'm wondering if financially he would have been better off had he made different choices. Not that he may care.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about controlling your content and your community.
Yeah, and the recent last couple he's put out were really telling about the whole Dice Tower convention. The last couple of videos that he just put out with the history, I think it was number 16 and 17 or whatever that have come out in the last few days. There was some stuff in there that I didn't know, and I thought I was following along pretty close.
Right.
And the whole split with
he talked
Patrick.
about that?
Patrick.
He gets behind the scenes about what happened with him and Patrick.
I got to watch that.
No, but it was good, though. He had praise for Patrick. And it was just...
No, Patrick ran an awesome convention.
Yeah, and he said that really was Patrick didn't own the Dice Tower Con.
Patrick sold it to Cool Stuff.
Cool Stuff.
Cool Stuff. It was to Cool Stuff, and Tom didn't know that he had sold it. Tom never had any financial stake in the Dice Tower conventions up to that point, and he just found out in the middle of one of the conventions. He found out that Patrick had sold the majority share of the convention to Cool Stuff, and so then Tom kind of went along with it for a little while, and then he found out Tom said he wanted to be more involved and wanted to make more decisions, and Cool Stuff said, no, we don't want that. So if that's what's going to happen, we're going to dissolve this. It's not going to be a thing anymore. Right. And then Tom said, all right, well, I'm going to do my own then. I'm going to have my own convention.
And he talked about when Tim McVillier, I think the guy from Dice Tower West, he had MeepleCon, and he approached Tom about making Dice Tower, changing MeepleCon into Dice Tower West. And he talked about how Cool Stuff basically tried to shut it down, saying, no, we don't need to do a con out west. We don't
want
Tower.
2 cons. We want to focus on one con.
Because they wouldn't have owned anything on the West Con.
Right.
So that's why it was interesting to listen to. And it was because I know when the split happened, there were a lot of people who were loyal or knew Patrick and were kind of not crapping on Tom, but we're like
they thought it was a money move. They thought that Tom was trying to make more money.
All the
he
money,
wanted more control.
He's like he just wanted any money from it. So I think and Tom speaks highly of Patrick. So I don't think Tom has really bad blood in his body. He kind of seems like the kind of guy who really is. I don't know. Anyway, it was.
I think there's room for 2 big cons in Florida.
Absolutely. There's room for multiple, way more than because you have the retreat too. So. But no, it's good to see that.
Yeah, I was happy to hear that he said positive things about Patrick, and he seemed to have positive things to say about everybody that he split with. So I really admire that about him.
Yeah.
Except for when he talks about Stefan Feld, then
that's a whole different thing, yeah.
Because I love Stefan Feld. Yeah. I'm like on a mission to find the rest of his games now.
A Feld fan.
Everything I touch that's his, I love.
Well, Dice Tower Convention, Jim Odak, who was just on a minute ago, is also a big fan of Feld, and he didn't realize that Dice Tower East, I guess now, every year, except for last year, I don't remember it being last year, but they have had it's put together by the fans, not by the Dice Tower folks, but they have what they call a Feld Fest. They used to have it for at least 5, 6, 7 years in a row, where you sign up for they pick 5 games, you sign up, you play those games anytime during the con, and then you go back and record your scores, and then there's a cup. They have a cup that they give to the first place winner. They have a whole ceremony where they award the Feld Fest Cup and all that. So I told Jim about that, but if you're a big fan of Feld, you may want to get in on that if they're doing it again next year.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out and see if they are.
They're
Thanks for letting me
they're
know.
all good games.
Yep. All of them.
Amazing.
All
Love
200 of them, or however many there are.
Yeah.
No, there's not that many.
Yeah, no, not quite. But anyway, thanks for calling, Sam. You have a good evening, and don't be a stranger to the show. Keep calling in.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Good
night.
night.
Right. Yeah, he has so many really good games. It's hard to press to say that. Yeah, he's not probably in my top 2 or 3 designers.
Yeah, he's got to be. If you play a lot of games, I mean, he's designed every other one. So
He does have
Anyway.
a lot. Yeah,
yeah, he's got quite a few. Car's got the.
I think
list up here. He's
Canisius got him beat though as far as credits,
Oh yeah, I'm sure he does.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
but not even close.
Yeah.
I think he sneezes out games.
Canisius is probably the one with the 200 or whatever that I'm thinking.
No, I
of,
think
He's got like
Canisius-
800.
Yeah, I was
He's
going
like
to say.
Oh, is
he's
it more like that? Oh,
Yeah,
well
it's more
over
like
600.
7,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what the number was. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Just to touch back though on Escape Winter, I got to be a little careful. I did talk to Patrick about being on a future show here sometime in the next few weeks. So we're going to try to have him on and do a
cool.
post convention download with him and just talk to him about the.
Oh, let's try to get that sooner than later.
The challenges. Yeah, Dan and I both talked to him. Dan from Your Turn Cafe here in Zephyr Hills is interested in being on at the same time. Dan either wants to be here in person or wants to call in and do a Zoom, or not a Zoom, but do the
Join us on the stream.
join us on the stream because Dan, those of us who know Dan personally and know Dan well, Dan understands that Patrick is a extremely nice guy and he's very humble. But Dan says, I need to kind of be on there and be the other side. Dan ran his first convention ever this year, the Your Turn Con, and Dan said, I want to get straight to the point. I want to ask Patrick the real questions that nobody else is going to call in and ask, and I want to talk to him about how damn difficult it is to run a con, to try to make everybody happy, to all that kind of stuff. And he goes, Patrick's not going to give the politically correct answers. So he said, I want to have a real conversation. So
I like this.
I'm
I-
down for that.
like
'cause-
devil horns and like
I
angel
was-
halo.
Exactly.
Even before you said that, I was going to joke around and say, so Dan's going to be on to balance it out then? Is that
That's
you-
what he said. He's
I
like,
just- look,
Patrick's going to give one answer, and then I'm going to give the real answer.
We need to have like
I'm
a
with
like
Dan
a
on that,
green
man.
screen,
Yeah.
where we put one on each of our shoulders.
Oh, yeah,
Let them
exactly.
talk.
Oh, that's
I'm
funny.
with Dan on that though, because I've talked a few times. I work for a bunch of nonprofits who run conventions in Florida and the South and national, and the conventions range from 200-300 to 4,000 people, right?
Yeah.
And everyone who goes to a convention will always complain and nitpick little things like, oh, the conference chicken, or this wasn't this or that, or I didn't get this free swag, or I didn't get my bag, and it's like, y'all don't know how much work it put, like just the Southern Conference, which is the 9 Southern states. It's like 500 people. There's like 75 people who work like insane hours preparing, spend a year planning the conference and working
Wow.
it out, and all the logistics and details and sessions and meetings and dinners and stuff. And it's like, no, I will never really crap on any con, unless it's clear that they didn't put in any effort whatsoever. But just general, you're not going to put on a con if you don't put in a crap ton of effort, and you'd never get the credit you deserve, because everything could look perfect and one little thing goes wrong and someone's going to be like, well, I just didn't go right. That's why I said, I would never, like I said earlier about the hotel, I'll never crap on Patrick for the hotel, because you have the
He can't
contract.
control that.
You can't
part.
control that.
Right.
The hotel's clearly deteriorated recently. And that,
Not until his contract runs out can he do anything about
yeah,
it.
exactly. And you have to, and it would cost a ton of money to break that contract.
Right.
Yep.
And the only one comment I wanted to make is that, again, I want to be careful and politically correct, I guess, about this, but people need to attend Escape Winter if they want this con to continue. And it was the smallest, I think I've seen it except for the pandemic year, as far as attendance this year, and they shrank down to just one room this year. Every time I've been in the past, they've had 3 or 4 different rooms. This year, it was just the main gaming hall, and I heard actually people complaining. A couple people mentioned to me that they had heard complaints that they didn't have the larger space and have the extra rooms, but we didn't even come close to filling up the main space there this year. It was, it was not a well-attended con from what I saw. And again, people need to attend. You need to go, and you need to help support this con if we want to keep it going.
Yeah.
So
I think the issue being is it's mid-February, so anyone with kids Like we just went back to school. It's hard to take time off. And I think this time they did compete. It's not a huge con, but they did directly compete with Tantrum Con, same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you have people that anyone in those states could drive to North Carolina, and go there where you have.
Because I think ODAC has gone to that one.
I was going to say ODAC mentioned that he had to make the decision this year between the two, and he went to this one because it was obviously a lot closer to where he is.
And I like what Jim said though about like he went to Tantrum Con. What he didn't like about that, and there's some very valid criticisms that Jim from a couple of weeks back that he had to Tantrum Con, but the Tantrum House is a bigger name in the content creating industry. I mean, most people don't know Patrick, but they know Tantrum House, and they had a bunch of like board game celebrities there, right?
But here's a very valid point. The last time we did Escape WinterCon was in September.
Yep. People mentioned
and
that.
It feels like we just were there.
Yeah. That
so
could definitely be a thing.
That definitely is probably an impact. It's not like we were a year out, can't wait to come back. I was just here.
Yeah.
Right.
So we can talk to Patrick about that when we have him on, obviously, about what challenges he's had with running back-to-back cons within just a matter of 4 or 5 months. So.
And ODAC says he was glad that he didn't have to make a decision, but by having Escape WinterCon, he didn't have to worry about going to 2 cons back-to-back.
Yeah.
He can just pick one and put his time and energy to that. So that makes sense, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Regionally, I think we can afford to have 2 cons, one in July, one in February. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of the Escape Winter piece for folks in other states because, it was like, Mike, you were posting up pictures of snow. It reminds me that in most of the rest of the country, it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 80 degrees here in Florida, but everywhere else, it's cold. All right, well, we'll make that happen. Let's coordinate between Patrick and Dan.
Dan, we'll get that going here. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks we can get both of them on.
Yeah, that'd be a good conversation, I think.
Yeah.
Grab the whiteboard, Rob. We got some white tape. We got to put some.
You got a bunch of games that Mike and I can tell you're wrong about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the point. That's what we do.
You may be surprised, but I'm not putting. Actually, I think one has to go on the board.
Yeah.
Only one?
I've got several
out of my multiple played games.
Did you get?
Going to be Marvel Remix.
Did you get Viticultural World to the table yet?
No. It's on the table.
Okay.
In the kitchen, but it has not been played. So we're doing Viticulture regular first.
Okay.
And then, like, I tried to do Viticulture World. I couldn't even grok it in my head. I feel like I need to get Viticulture back to the table before I Viticulture World it.
Just play Tuscany and you're fine.
I'm going to limit my list. I'm going to spread mine out a little bit because I'm referencing back to Escape Winter, which was a couple of weeks ago.
Are these all making it to the table, to the board?
Several of them are. Yeah.
Really?
There were several. Yeah, a couple of classics that I just hadn't played recently, so I haven't been able to get them up, and then a couple of brand new games that I played for the first time that are going to make the board. So I'm not going to put them all up, like I say. So anybody who played games with me to Escape Winter, you may not see them this week. You may have to wait till next week for some of them, but there's a couple that I think I'm going to start with just in the order from the first ones I played when I got to the con. But definitely a few are going to hit the board here, and one of them is a brand new game that just came out in the last few months. So, and it struck me.
Well, stop teasing, start talking.
All right, I'm going to write first. So
Stretch it out.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
He does that. He does that. He'll talk about what it is before saying what it is.
Yeah, it's so everybody can guess along.
I've only got one game that's going up on the board. Listen, Marvel Remix. I told you about my play of that. Of course, I still been playing a lot of the games that I already enjoy, and I'm not ready to move anything. And actually, no, it's been on the board, but dang it, yeah, it's going up. All right, let's pull up the board here. On the board, my current top 20 games.
Make it big.
For 2023. Thank you, sir.
That's what she said.
It is after dark.
Yeah, we are after 10. No, not me. I'm gonna move on.
For me, top number 1, Brass Birmingham, followed by Castles of Burgundy, Cascadia in the 3rd spot, Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done, followed by Mosaic in the 5th spot, Concordia, Gizmos, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Smartphone Inc., Furnace, Radlands, Shogun in the 13th spot, lucky number 13, Ethnos, Biblios in the 14th, Tapestry making its way down the charts quickly, Potion Explosion in 16, Pitch Card 17, Seven Wonders Duels 18, 19 is Tiny Epic Kingdoms, and 20 is New York 1901. So this is where it's going to bug me a little bit because I've already had this title up on the board before. I'm going to put it up now, and it's not going to go too high up. It is Welcome to the Flip and Fill game.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a good game. It is a good game, and it's better than Tiny Epic Kingdoms, which is the spot it's going to take. But because of the rules we've established for this system, 1901 is the one at the bottom, and it's coming off the board.
See, you're wrong.
No. It's not that I'm wrong.
Now you need
It's that
to play.
I need
He
to
needs to
play
play it.
1901 again.
So you can put it back on.
I bumped that off on a week that Wayne wasn't here, so I was the smart guy. I did it the right way. You did it wrong.
No, I mean, New York 1901 is Mosaic, right? Is it not Mosaic? Foundations
Foundations are own, but better.
cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper for sure. Yeah.
All right, that's the only one I've got. Robert, what do you have for the folks?
What'd you
Wait,
put up
that's the
there?
only one you're putting
I
up on
missed
the
it.
board?
That's it. That's all it's making it to the
Nothing
board.
like 2
All right, well,
weeks.
after Rob puts his one up, I want to hear what else you played that didn't make it to the board.
Well, no, Marvel Remix. I've already got my smartphone ink up there, and I'm happy with where it's at. It's not going. I don't think it's going to go under 10 yet. And then Mosaic, which I played. I've been playing a lot of the same games. I'm not ready to push Mosaic higher over Crusaders. Like I'm just not. Like I don't know. Crusaders has a sweet spot for me. That rondelle is so fun.
Yeah.
okay,
that's a great
so
one.
even though you're not putting anything up, are things shifting around?
Not yet. Mosaic
okay.
is right where I
All
want
right.
it to be. Smartphone ink.
Shut your mouth unless it goes up.
That's the only
Then I
one-
guess I
only
need to
one way
stop
go is
talking
up.
right now because
It might go down.
the 2-player board that I played it with.
Oh, not so
Yeah.
good.
I only played it 2 players. I need to play it 3 players. That's why I'm not ready to make a move on it yet. It felt restrictive. There wasn't a lot of places to
Supposed
go.
be.
Well, yes, but it also feels like there's less decisions. Like I might want to play the Rob strategy of holding up somewhere away from where everyone else is at and trying to build my empire there. And on that small board, it just doesn't allow for that.
No, it's supposed to force the conflict.
No hiding, no
It's
turtling.
a knife fight in a phone
Phone
booth.
booth. Yeah.
Right, kind of a feel to it. So I'm not ready to impact Smartphone Inc. on that one play.
All right,
I'll
Rob,
try that.
let's see what you got, buddy.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so the brand new game, the new game that I was talking about is Clank Catacombs. I'll get right to it. I won't even mess around. Yeah, I got to play this. This was on the Hot Games table, Hot Games area there. And let me just give a tiny bit of history. I'll try not to go into too much depth. I know I tend to ramble, but anyway.
Too late.
Yeah, too late. I already did it. Just by saying that, it was already over, right? So I'm not a huge fan of the original Clank. I like the original Clank. I like the fantasy setting, going into the dungeon, doing the thing. But it does bother me that the board is always the same. So once you've played it a few times, it's like, okay, well, I kind of could come into the thing even before I start building my deck and start, getting into the game. I could kind of set a pre-strategy that, okay, I'm going to go down and grab a mid-level treasure, whichever one I can get to, and then I'm going to head out. I'm going to try to put pressure on the people who went deeper into the dungeon. I'm not going to do that quick in and out. I feel that that's a cheap, dirty kind of way to try to win, just to grab the first thing, run out, and that ends the game prematurely. Nobody enjoys that. So anyway, long story short,
Clank in
the original
space.
How's
Yeah.
they do?
Yeah, there you go. Clank in Space is where it was at for me. Clank in
Yeah.
Space I like a lot because you have to go all the way to the end. The artifacts that you have to grab are at the very far end of the ship. Everybody has to go all the way across the board, grab the artifact, get out. There are checkpoints where you have to do the key cards. You have to find the key card, get through the checkpoint to get
The
to the
board
second section.
changes a little bit.
Right, there's some variability. You can set it up differently. It can Clank Catacombs, the board changes every time you play. This is a stack of tiles that are shuffled up.
Dungeon crawler, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's back to the fantasy setting. It's a stack of tiles. You shuffle them up before you start, and then as you go off the side of one of the boards, you grab the next tile off and you put it down. It could be anything. And the nice thing is I had not played any of the expansions for Clank. I've played an expansion for in space, but I've never played. I guess there's about 5 or 6 expansions for the base Clank out now. This incorporates pretty much all of the expansions, or the best parts from what I understand of the expansions from Clank, into this. And so there are lots of neat little things that I had not seen by just playing regular Clank. But the fact that the tiles turn. You can do a thing in this game where everybody has to turn the tile they're on 90 degrees. And so it's like somebody thinks they're going deeper into the dungeon. All of a sudden, right-hand turn. Now everybody's going sideways. And so
Dungeon
it's like,
twister.
Yeah, it can completely switch up the game. So it adds definitely a level of randomness to the game, which I normally don't like. But this kind of can give you some hilarious randomness. Somebody's like, I'm on my way out of the dungeon. And then you draw that card that makes everybody flip a tile. Actually, it's 180 degrees in some cases. So now they're going from going out of the dungeon to going completely deeper into the dungeon. So you just sent them on a whole new path. So
What's the playtime on this one?
we played it in less than an hour. We learned it and played it in less than an hour.
That's a good time.
Yeah, it was good.
No, you haven't played Clank Legacy though, right?
I have not. Jim Odak brought to one of the Wesley Chapel game days his completed copy. So the board had already been all filled in because he soloed it. He played multi-hand and played through it just because he wanted to play it and he didn't have a group to play it with. So he brought his board, which had all of the stuff from it. And again, I understand that also incorporates a lot of the expansion stuff that had come out along the way. And so I got a little taste of it there. But no, I haven't played through the Legacy. But yeah. But anyway.
I like even base Clank, although I have not played it. I think I played Clank once every year or so, so I don't the game in and out, so it's fresh still, But yeah, multiple repeats, it gets old.
Yeah, that's what I felt after playing it a couple times. I was like, this is okay. Yeah. Anyway, so let me get to my rankings. Let me run down my list real quick, just for those who can't see, who might be listening to the podcast later. Number 1 for me, Brass Birmingham. 2, Blood Rage, Mosaic, Unsettled, Trajan, Tapestry, Res Arcana, Shogun, Welcome to Ethnos. At 11, we got Tzolk'in, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Guild of Merchant Explorers, Furnace, Biblios, Hanamakoji, Endless Winter, Ready, Set, Bet, Alhambra, and Star Wars Outer Rim. I do kind of hate that Star Wars Outer Rim is coming off, but it's got to happen. Games are going to fall off the bottom of the list. I just got to play it again and see how much.
If you like them enough, play them again.
Yeah, I'll play it again. Maybe get back up there. But this isn't going to rock it all the way to the top, even though I think it is a really solid, really fun version of Clank. I think I'm going to put it in right around, let's say, below Furnace. Well, no, hold on. Let me think.
All right,
here.
so we're on 16. We're on 16.
It's going to 16. I'm gonna bump
15. Biblios is going down to 16. 15 is open.
And I think I'm going to bump Merchants.
Furnace is down to 15 now.
And I'm going to go Guild of Merchants.
Guild of Merchants was 13, is down to 14.
You were high on that. Wow.
You are high on that.
I'm going behind Lost Ruins of Arnak.
What are you smoking, bro? That's high.
It was pretty good. Well, Clank is a pretty loved game to start with.
Not for me. We played Clank once, and I never wanted to play it again.
Really?
So I'm gonna have to give this a try. I like the way you talked about it.
I like deck builders. It is a deck builder. You get a lot of variety in the way you can build your deck. You can go for agility. You can do those extra footstep cards that allow you to get in and out. You've got the cards that allow you to fight monsters. Now there's a monsters mixed in the deck, so they come out. You can beat the monster if you don't want to buy something out of the card row. There's a lot of things you can do in this one. And like I said, a lot of the expansion stuff is in here. Every tile you flip, it could be a haunted tile. It could be one-way pathways on this tile. There's treasure tiles where you go in. It's just full of different treasures. There's a lot of cool little things.
Now, do you like this more than? Do you think if you played Clank in Space, it would beat it, or would you put Clank in Space?
I think
really?
It would. And yeah, I did like Clank in Space. Definitely way more than I liked regular Clank. But I think this gives me the feels of not being able just to run in, run out. It gives me that changing board. It gives me, some surprises as we go along.
Is it the fantasy versus sci-fi or no?
I'm sorry. Is this the?
Is it the fantasy like the fact that Catacombs is fantasy and Clank in Space is sci-fi?
Not so much. No? It was really more about the mechanisms for in space than me, because again, it forced everybody to go all the way through the ship, get all the way to the end, and then come all the way out, and finding unique ways to get in and get out. And there was a little bit of a race element to it, but there's also some benefits for slowly going through and hitting some treasures and things as you went along. So cool. I don't think the theme did much one way or the other for me.
All right. 13.
So that's that. Yeah, and I know nobody can comment too much because it doesn't sound like any of y'all have tried that yet, but I would definitely recommend it if you like deck builders.
I saw Muhammad playing it at your turn, I think the first week it came. Mike, were you there? Weren't y'all playing it together? Catacombs was? No, y'all were playing a different one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you have any inkling to like Clank, it's really good. I got to get these up here, and then I'm going to talk about some that didn't make the list. But Thunder Alley, I mean, so this one's probably not going to surprise a lot of people from the group. Yeah, Thunder Alley is a wonderful car racing game, NASCAR. And we taught, I think, 3 or 4 new people to play this the night we played it. And it was one of those, at least half the new people, I'd say probably 2 of the 4 that we taught, were like, oh, really? You know, a NASCAR car racing game? Okay, I'll play.
Don't knock it till you try to, people.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a great game of it at Your Turn Con, man. That was great.
I think everybody enjoyed it. Again, when we were done, I think everybody had fun. Jim Odak refused to play because he had played it once and he knew he didn't like it. So I appreciate that he didn't play, but because he didn't. Just doesn't like that experience, I guess. But
Interesting.
yeah, everybody else who played it was, I think, was.
I thought Jim had
liking
some
it.
fun at the Your Turn Con playthrough. That's okay.
Yeah. But so Thunder Alley, I'm going to put that up here. Again, I'm not going to belabor this one too much. Everybody, if you've listened to the show very long, you know Carlos and I are both huge fans of Thunder Alley. This is going to go up pretty high, so I'm going to put this. It's going to go above Tapestry, which is currently at number 6. Trajan, actually, I think it's going to go above Trajan, even though I love my Euros.
Oh, wow.
I've only played Trajan once, so I need to get some more plays of Trajan in. Unsettled. Ooh, now we're getting into crazy territory. I'm going to put it above Unsettled.
I'm going to have to play
2
again.
totally different games.
It
you
is.
know?
It's hard to compare.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. When you throw up Unsettled up there,
Yeah.
like you even acknowledge that it would be hard because Unsettled's so different
Yeah.
than most games.
Yeah. And this one is just, and I have to just base this off Hombres is coming off the bottom of the list just for anybody who cares. But this one, it's just every time I think back about my play, yeah, exactly, about my plays of this, it's just the fun that I remember. This one, I always will try to play with bigger groups. I mean, I'm sure it's a great game at 2 or 3. I played
It's
it.
the
You and
best
I have
at
played a lot
max.
of 2.
Yeah, a couple times.
And
but-
it's like chess.
Yeah.
It's very tactical.
Yeah.
You're really, because you get more cars at 2. So you're really trying to set up more packs on your own.
Right. It's
See,
a different game.
I don't know if I want to play this game any less than like 6, 7, 8 players.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always want to play the full player count.
I think so. I think
And I
just
think
having a couple
that's a
cars.
slight distraction. That's a slight like down scope for like I like the game. I really liked it when we played it at Your Turn Con. But I'm like, man, I would never want to play this for like 2, 3, 4 players. Like this is a 6, 7, 8 player.
I don't know.
game.
I liked it at 2.
Yeah.
I guess the mechanisms.
It's a different game, but it's still fun.
It's still good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's like number 4 good, where Rob is currently putting.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
crazy.
Oh, it's at
Thunder
number
Alley's
4.
going to number 4.
Number 4.
He just likes right turns.
Too
There's a
bad
road
he's playing
course
the wrong
right
Rights
game.
only. Rights only.
Right only. The left turns. Sorry.
It is, yes.
Left turns. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so-
don't know racing.
Did that push Unsettled to 5th? Is that what I see?
Unsettled is now
Unsettled
fifth.
is now 5th.
But I will
Okay.
play more Unsettled, and so Unsettled has a chance to go back up. Actually, I was just talking to Dan about that a couple nights ago. We played some Arkham LCG, and I told him that we need to get back to Unsettled, and he agreed. So we're gonna get some more Unsettled in. We're on the second
you got
planet.
like 5 campaign games going on right now, Robert.
Just 4.
It's not
Oh,
really
I'm sorry. I'm way off. I'm way
Euro
off.
themeless guy doing all these campaign games.
And I'm going to go ahead and start on my next one here as y'all finish up talking. But keep talking.
I think
All
there's
right.
a distinct lack of Castles of Burgundy and Dune on Rob's list. We need to get the.
I need to get those played. I have not played Dune
I know.
recently, and I have not played the
No,
physical version
2023. You
of
haven't
Castle-
played it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not 22 either, I don't think. Or maybe just once in 2022.
We played 2020 Dune at least twice, I think.
Yeah, maybe a couple times. You're right. Yeah.
What
But,
game
alright,
do you have now in your hand?
This is another one. If you've been a fan of the show very long, if you've listened to what I've talked about, one of my all-time favorites, Orleans.
Oh,
This is-
Orléans.
Orléans. And that's what people kept saying when I was teaching it. Like, you have to say it the real way, Orléans. So Orléans or Orleans. You can't say Orléans.
No.
that's how I say it.
Orleans or Orleans. But one of my all-time favorites. I taught, we played a 4-player game. I taught 2 people to play this. And one of them came away saying it was their game of the con. It was they liked it that much.
Oh,
Michelle
wow.
from our game group. So
Yeah.
and she was there, I think, at least 3 or 4 days and played a lot of games. And she said this was her favorite game of the whole con. So. Yeah, I love teaching this game. I love playing this game with people playing for the first time and watching them light up as they start to kind of figure it out about halfway through that first game. One of the original big bag builders, bag pullers. You're pulling chits out of a bag. You're kind of placing them down. It's quick actions. It's one action at a time. You go around until everybody passes. It moves quick. It's I think 12 rounds long, but those 12 rounds go quick. And people usually, once we're about halfway through, are like, all right, we're halfway through the deck. That means we're halfway through this game, and people are like, whoa. go. I just got my stuff going. It's like, all right, now I got to get this. Yeah. So this is a game I am a huge fan of. So I'm going to keep moving it up here. I say I was at the 12. It's going way above 12.
Yeah, no, I as much as you've played this game and taught me this game, it's probably one of the best bag builders I've ever played.
Yeah, it's
going all the way.
game.
It's going all the way up there.
It needs
top
to.
3.
I'm going to stop moving for a minute just because I want to look up there. I think this is going above Thunder Alley. And I just put Thunder Alley in the 4 spot. I think this is going above Mosaic. Wow, I think this might go above Blood Rage, which is
I think I need to get some like wireless microphones for this segment,
yeah, I
so
know,
we can stand up.
I'm trying so hard to talk into the mic, but
pull it up, man.
yeah,
Can you tilt it up?
That's all a pain in the butt.
yeah, it's all on little swivels and locks and stuff. I can put it up here and talk up to it, but yeah, I think I'm going to think about this for just a second, but I think it's going above Blood Rage, so I think it's going in my number 2 spot. It's not going to pass Brass. Brass for its level of thinkiness and just how when I play Brass and I'm done with Brass, I feel like I need to take a nap. I mean that game just it's
true.
Orleans does not do that to me. I could play Orleans 2 or 3 times in a row and still really.
And
enjoy
we
that.
did play Orleans.
Oh, did we?
In New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
You remember
All right,
that?
well, that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's.
I made sure that we made that happen. I was like, we're going to New
Man,
Orleans. We need to play Orleans.
It's been so long since I played this game. I need to play it again. It's probably been, I don't know.
And I won that night. I think I did win that night. It was you, me, and Mitchell at the hotel in New Orleans.
Number 2. There it
Yeah,
is.
all the way to the number
it
2
is.
spot, Orleans.
Wow.
Some people may think that's crazy, but I know it's pretty highly regarded on the BGG list. I'm not sure how high, and I know there's been a lot of debate recently about how valid the whole BGG ranking thing is. But I think it's in the top 25 or 30 or something on BGG.
Something like
so,
that.
So
Well,
what just
in the
dropped off
3
your list?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did come off? That one was Ready, Set, Bet. So Ready, Set,
Understandable.
Bet, I think is a very fun game. But this one, again, I think Carlos and Booth, if I have said several times, this is very group dependent. Ready, Set, Bet is one of
Absolutely.
those that you got to get the right group of people. And with the right group of people, it's a top 10 game for me. But with just a random group and just not being able to play it with just anybody and have that same great experience, I think knocks it down a bit.
Orleans ranked 30 overall, 2014 game, 8.1 rating.
There you go.
3.03 on the weight scale. Yeah. I think I played this game like twice, 2014-15, and haven't played it since. So I definitely want to play it again now.
Oh,
I really
anytime.
do.
Yeah, anytime
Just,
you want to play.
just the way you gush about it and Michelle. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, man, I haven't played this game in almost 10 years now. I need to play it again. So
It's simple, but it's fun.
I'll tell you, in the 3-4 years we've been doing this stuff together, the show, Rob has put out, I think, 1 video on his own.
Yeah, or one group of videos. I think
Right.
we did 2 or 3 of them, but it was me and the 2 kids.
It's
yeah.
Orleans.
that was the only one I did. I forgot
If
about
that says it, yeah.
Yeah.
Him and the kids did their own video from the house reviewing Orleans.
Yeah,
So-
that's old and it's pretty.
Because it was
pretty
your number
rough.
1 back then. Probably for a long time, it was your number 1.
Yeah, I think so. It was before I had played Brass, actually, and so yeah, it was my number 1 before Brass. So I guess that makes sense. Now it's number 2 to Brass, so Brass has knocked it down a step. But
I think it's interesting. I don't know, like Mike, if you're doing, you said you were going to start doing this on your own on the side.
Yeah.
I've been doing it as well, just keeping my own list and stuff. And it's interesting that Brass is 1 or 2 for Carlos, Rob, and me at this point, and then it's Castles of Burgundy and Orleans.
I want to see your list. I want to see your board because that was up.
Yeah.
That was our ranking board. Wayne, I don't know if you did it digital or if you did analog like
I've
Rob
got
and
it
I.
I've got it digitally on an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, an Excel. Anyone shocked?
It's going to do a PowerPoint presentation for you.
after the show, everybody can tune in for the PowerPoint.
Now let's take a peek at Wayne's.
Let's see.
It's not ready.
Do you have it
It's not
handy?
ready for
No,
production.
Let's
No,
wait till
I got
next
it.
week because I'll put mine up. I'll
Yeah,
put
let
mine
them both
together.
go.
All right.
I'm
All
not
right,
here
next
week.
week.
I'm not here next week though.
Okay, even
Oh,
better. Let's wait for
all right.
next week.
Yeah, let's wait for next week. There you go. Perfect. Yeah.
Well,
let
while
me
you're
just hit a-
pulling that up,
go
Rob,
ahead.
what did you play that you
Yeah,
didn't put on there?
That's where I was going to go. I say a couple games. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole list here, so just going through the first half of the games I played. A couple that are not going to make the list. One of them I think is a very solid game, and it's a lot of fun. It's just for what it is, it's just not going to make my top 20, especially now that I've got these games up here. And if this was my original list, it probably would have gotten on. But Scout. Scout is a fairly recent game
That's
that
a
just
fun
came out
game.
probably less than 2 years ago.
Played it at Dice Tower last year.
Right, BJ from Board Game Gumbo taught Carlos and I and a group of people at the Dice Tower East convention. A lot of fun, but just quick, easy card game, pretty easy to teach, quick to play, and a lot of fun, but it's not going to make my top 20. Michelle taught me Micropolis, which is a fun little game, a little tile drafting. You lay them out. It's based on ants. It's a little army ants and queen ants, and you're drafting tiles. It's got the not Seven Wonders, the Matsuji game. Anyway, where you're taking cards, you're playing cards, and if you have a card row, and if you take a card that's 3 down the row, you have to put resources on the first couple to be able to pick up the one that you want.
Oh,
so
kind
you're
of like
Century Spice
Century
Road.
Spice Road. That's the one I was thinking. Matsuji. Yeah, that game. So this was a fun little. It's got a cute little theme. It's got really cool looking ants. Carlos is pulling up the BGG on it here, but really cool game. Drafting tiles, and that was a hit. Michelle taught a few of us. Actually, I say Michelle, but it was somebody else who taught us. But Rachel, that's right. It was Rachel who taught me, and I think it was Jim to play this. And this was a lot of fun. We actually played it, and then we all agreed immediately to reset it and play it again. I think it plays in about 15 minutes. It's real quick and real easy, and you're just putting these little paths together. You're drafting these tiles. You're trying to make long paths. You're trying to connect fruit. The more fruit you have, it ends up being a multiplier in each of the little tunnels that you have. There's a little bit of messing with each other in the way that you draft the tiles, and then you can put these little army ants out for little bonus points in different ways into the little colonies. So it's a lot of fun. It was quick and easy, real cute art. So that was a lot of fun. But again, for what it was, it's not going to make the list. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, we played it back-to-back times and had a good time. And then let's see, another game that I got to play is a brand new game that's out, Vegetable Stock. This was a fun game, too. A pretty simple little card game. This is similar to, what's the vegetable game, Carlos, that we play?
fruit salad.
Or point salad. Point salad. I like point salad better, I think. This felt like a new kind of approach. The artwork is very similar. Kind of the theme is somewhat similar. This is kind of a stock market game. You've got, I think it's 5 different kinds of vegetables. And as you're taking the cards, you're drafting the cards, and the number of like carrots you have at the end of the game is going to be worth points based on the stock market table. And what happens is I think there's one more card out than there are a number of players. And so you go around, and in turn order, everybody just takes a card with some of these vegetables on it. And the card that's not taken, the value goes up for those. So if the card at the end, let's say here is 2 broccolis and a corn, the broccoli will go up $2 on the broccoli price on the stock market. The corn will go up 1. So they all go up from 0 to 5. You can crash the market if it's already at 5 and somebody leaves another one, it will make it crash all the way down to worth 0. And so you just play through the whole deck. You draft all the cards, cool. And at the end, everybody flips the cards in their hand, and you show what you got, and you count up your points. And so real quick and easy. It was fun. So
the scoring mechanism is more of a global thing than point salad, where it's an individual thing.
Yeah.
But you're still trying to build sets based on that global scoring. So like a Biblio style.
Yeah. You want to crash the other people's stuff.
Right. I was going to say, you can see if somebody's going big on carrots, they keep drafting carrots, and they've got the carrots up to 4 or 5. You may want to try to leave a couple carrots out at the end of the round so that it crashes the carrots and they go all the way back down to 0. So
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's a little evil. Yeah, it's
almost like Biblios, where if I see you going for pigment,
I'm
going to crash that pigment die all the way down to 1.
Yeah. The hard part is that you don't have direct control, though, because let's say I think we played a 5-player game, so there's 6 cards out each round, and so if you're drafting first, that you have the first choice of all those, so you can get a card that you really want. But it's the card that's left, the card that doesn't get drafted, is the one that manipulates it. So the only one who has direct control over that is the last person to pick. So they can really do that. So, but right after you're first again. So you got to wait for it to come all the way back around before you really have that control.
Because if you ain't first,
you're last. No, Bobby. There's second. There's third. There's fourth. Anyway, but no, that was a fun game. It was light. Like I say, it was easy to teach, easy to play. We reset it and played it a couple times in a row. But I think I like point salad better. I like the individual thing. I like in point salad being able to take those cards that allow you to score in different ways. But
a little too much direct influence here as opposed to your own thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
but,
cool.
But that was a good one. And then, like I say, I've got about 4 or 5 others that I played that I'm going to hold off on for next week.
Teasing us.
Yeah, so there'll be 1 or 2 that make the board, and then a couple that didn't. But we'll talk about those.
Nice.
So, yeah, good times.
All right, we got here probably the highlight of the day.
No, it's very exciting stuff here.
No, so I don't update this as regularly as you guys because you do it every week. I only do it at the end of every month. So this is just
Well, listen, go Gadget Eyes, zoom me in there.
Oh, yeah. All right, there we go.
Blow it up. Blow it up.
There we go. Better. There we go.
Better.
That's better.
So as of the end of February, as far as games played since January 1, Castles of Burgundy is my number 1. That's a shocker. Although it was tough, I tell you what, because it really took me. I had to think about Castles of Burgundy or Brass Birmingham because those were like really good. But I think Burgundy wins out for me still. Zolk in the
Tough
Mayan
choice.
Calendar. We played it in person in January, and man, I really like that game. So good. I've had a game of that going on BGA ever since we played it in physical form.
See, I stumbled through my teach on that. Hopefully, you figured it out enough.
Oh
But
yeah,
it
it's
seems
great.
like you
Love
liked it. So
I
yeah.
like it a lot. Yeah.
Are you
In fact,
counting BGA games in this one?
No, this is not. This is only physical plays.
Physical plays.
Physical plays. Yeah,
Because number
in fact,
4's got me interested. Like 2023, number 4 came to the table.
Mansion Madness. Yeah, we played. My wife and I played that together.
Oh man, that's such a good
Nice.
game.
Yeah, I love it. Love the app integration. We love that sort of cooperative. We own Mansions of Madness and Elder Sign. It's also on my list. So I really enjoy the Cthulhu Mythos games, the cooperative games. My wife and I play those together all the time. So that would hits, and just the app integration there is just super good.
It takes care of all the fiddliness. You can just get right
It
into the
does.
game.
Love it. Yep. And just we love the music and the atmosphere and the reading of the cards and things. So yeah. Raiders of the North Sea. Man, I love that game. That's so good. I haven't played Lords of Waterdeep, and it'll be interesting when I do this year play Lords of Waterdeep because that's one of my all-time favorites. And I think Raiders might kind of like replace Waterdeep for me a little bit because it's just such a fun game.
Have you played any of the other Raiders games?
The North Sea trilogy? You mean?
Yeah, or
I have not.
Any of the Shem games.
Well, I've got Raiders
Man,
of
I'm-
Scythia, which I like a lot.
Okay, like I'm behind on all those Shim games. Just
Okay.
Yeah, I like Raiders too.
I just really love that whole place one, pull one, and that whole and working up the track and love it. Nivelier is amazing. Love that game. I love that the bidding, the different dwarfs and different ways of doing it. That
You
game
and
is
Jim
just-
Odak, he's a huge fan of that. Every time
Yeah.
we're at a convention, I ask him, "Hey, what do you want to play?" Well, he's
Play
like, "Hey,
Nivelier.
how about some Nidavalier?" I'm like, "Okay,
yeah.
okay."
It's great, and the expansions are great. But what I like is the expansions are great, and I would play with them. But the base game is also just it sings. It's quick. You can get it done real quick.
I agree.
Baron Park. I love Baron Park. Phil Walker Harding, praise be.
Praise be.
Love me some Phil Walker Harding. His games are always good. I played Wingspan Asia with my wife. I love Wingspan. I think Wingspan's a great game. I think people crap on it because it's so popular, but it is a good game for a reason. There's a reason why it's so popular.
Yeah.
And I like this new duet mode. It was kind of good. It was a good way to just play a 2-player version. Crusaders. I played Wingspan Asia after Crusaders, and I played Crusaders since then. So I think in March, Crusaders might move back up. I'm kind of with Carlos. I'm really kind of digging the game the more I play it.
Yeah.
I played it a couple times physically and a bunch on BGA this year. I love it.
With or without the expansion?
I think without, to be honest with
I like
you.
without.
I really like it with. I think with it just gets it too complicated. I
Yep.
think it's such a great, straightforward mechanics playing it. I really like it. I don't mind the expansion, but I would prefer to play without it.
Agree.
Agreed. Like my one play with the expansion made me say, "Yeah, let's put that back in the box."
Yeah, the game is I think perfect the way it is. It doesn't need the expansion. Ticket to Ride. I like Ticket to Ride. I'm not gonna, I love Markland. That's my favorite version of Ticket to Ride. I played it with a few of y'all over the last year or so. But I put the 10th anniversary right there because my buddy has a 10th anniversary edition, and there is something really cool about that 10th
So
anniversary
pretty.
edition. It's so pretty, and it's the giant board and the things. So it went high on my list just because of the production value of
Dan
that
from
Ticket
Your
to-
Turn had never played Ticket to Ride ever until
sorry, what?
we played on BGA, and he said he now has like 15 concurrent games on BGA going. He's like he is in love with Ticket to Ride right now.
I
And
want
that's because people crap on it, and it's not right.
It's
a
an
good
evergreen,
game.
man. That
Yeah,
game will
it's
never
awesome.
go away.
And
It's
so
a good game.
now I really want to bring Markland, and I want to play Ticket to Ride Markland with Dan now because if
I need to play it. I haven't played it.
Yeah, you got to play it too. I know I played it with a few people for the Beans and Ice crew over the years. It is the best version of Ticket to Ride.
That's what I keep hearing.
But I enjoy it, and just the 10th anniversary. I regret not buying this when it came out, but at least my buddy has it. We play it. Karuba I love that game. It's that whole draft. Everyone plays the same tiles and the same time, but you create different boards as you go through it. So I enjoy that. Azul is Azul. We all know that. Jaipur, it might be my favorite 2-player game right now. I really love Jaipur.
Has Lost Cities been on the table this year?
Yes, it has, and it's not on the list.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love me some Lost Cities.
I really like Lost Cities. I played Lost Cities a bunch.
And Jaipur is like halfway up the list.
Jaipur is above Lost Cities. I think
I've not given it a play yet. Have you, Rob?
I played it once, yes.
And it's not on your list.
Well, I haven't played it recently enough to be on the list, but
on the list,
it wouldn't be on the list, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah. I think Jaipur is a great game. I like it as much as Lost Cities, if not obviously a little bit more.
Yeah.
New York Zoo will probably fall down my list as I play. I was high on it. I played it 3 or 4 times now this year, but I don't know if it's gonna have a lot of staying power. It's a really fun game, but it seems to be very one note.
Go easy on the next one. Easy. Res Arcana at 15. Oh man, me and Mike are both gonna disagree with that. I think.
No. And the thing is, it's on my list, right? So I've played 60
it's up against a lot of good games.
60 or 70 games this year so far.
Don't make excuses for him, Mike.
In the top 15. It's in the top 15 of 70 games played. I've only played it once physically, so that's why it's 15. I played it a bunch more on BGA. I think as I figure out how to play it, like how to deck build a little better, I like it. It's a really cool game. And you and I, Rob, we've talked about.
Yeah.
I felt like it doesn't really do that much different than other games similar to it. It probably does. I just maybe haven't. I will concede the point that I've only played it once physically. I may have not quite examined or explored that differences yet. So that could move up as I play it more.
All the times that you've played it, what's your average round time? Like how many rounds do you guys go before?
I don't even. I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I have to look because we played it once physically, and then I played it like 4 or 5 times on BGA. So, but I'll say this: so of the games we're talking about now, is New York Zoo and Azul will probably fall down. Res Arcana will probably go up. I could easily see Res Arcana going up. I'm not going to say it's definitely not going down. It would definitely.
Of course,
go
it's
up.
not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Endless Winter is probably going to slowly trickle down because I don't. Here's the thing: is I don't see how I'm going to get that to the table anytime soon. I don't own it, and if I went to various game meetups, there's like if you told me, hey, there's a table with Castles of Burgundy and Zolkin and Orleans or this or Endless Winter, I can think of a ton of games that aren't. So I don't think Endless Winter is destined to be on my table very long on my list very long because I don't see me getting to the table to keep it there. Same with Foundations of Rome. I like the game. It's a really fun game. And the reason why it's probably not as high is because I already own 1901 and that was $45.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same game, right? There's a couple of subtle differences between Foundations of Rome and 1901. And I really like Foundations of Rome, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see it staying around on my list because
of the rule that you have to play it.
Yeah, you have to, right? Because the rule I have to play it, right? It's a good game, and if you said, "Hey, I own 1901," that's going to get to the table the next fastest than Foundations of Rome. Elder Sign is probably also not going to be on the list very long because it's there's going to be other games that surpass
This
it.
is the dice chucker, right?
This is a dice chucker. I can play solo. I play with my wife. But if I'm playing with a Cthulhu cooperative game, we're going to pull out Mansions of Madness. We're going to pull out, Arkham Horror. We're going to pull out before we pull out Elder Sign. So Elder Sign, Gizmos will be going up. That I played it once physically, and I played it a few times on BGA. Forgot how much I love that game. Another Phil Walker Harding game, I believe. Page B. I think in my head,
Yes.
I think it's a Phil Walker Harding game. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got it right behind you.
Yep.
It
somewhere.
was. It's currently number 7 on my list.
Yeah, it's gonna go up. It has been so many years since I played it that the one time I played it physically and now the 2 times or so on BGA, I'm like, man, how do I can't remember how to grok the game. I'm trying to why am I not doing so good in this game? And I'm like, I just need to remember how to connect things better there. And then Furnace, sorry, Carlos, I don't see this one staying very long either because it's a fun game, but I just don't know. It just doesn't have enough.
It's already at number 20. So
yeah, it's probably not going to be there very long. But no, it was good. And I actually off to the side here see games that have already fallen off Blockus I play with my kid all the time, but that's definitely not. It's a fun game, but it's not something to rival there. And I will never play that game physically ever again.
What? Why?
Yeah,
We played it at my
Why?
house.
He likes the app version. It's
Oh my god, I can.
Oh,
play
the app is good, but I mean, it's fun playing with other people.
As far
at
as
the table.
rolling rights go, there are 5 or 10 other roll rights I would play before I play
Well,
that game.
absolutely, but I mean, it's like Yahtzee on steroids. It's not.
I guess, but just having the app and a million other rolling rights, I honestly don't own Gone Son Clever, but I don't know where I would ever I actually spelled it wrong on there. It's Gone Son Clever, it's N, not N. But I don't see myself ever getting this to the table again. Like, it's hard.
Yeah. It's a fun, quick, light game. We played it at the
great restaurant game.
Yeah, having
Yeah,
pie at 2 in the
maybe,
morning. Yeah.
Shogun.
That's what's tough about this 20
It is.
point list.
I love it. It's great though. Now Shogun could go back out there if we play it again. Play it.
I was a little surprised by that.
Such a good game.
Well,
Yeah.
it really fell off because we only got half of
We
a
played it
game
wrong.
and we played it wrong. So
Them farmers were armed,
Right.
bro.
All over the place.
there were some meanie farmers there. But if we play this again, complement of players, and it could easily go back on my list.
That's
and
another game that I prefer playing a full player account.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, definitely.
And so really that only fell off because of just
The experience.
It'll come back on if we play it again this year. And then Tapestry, man, I've played it twice now in person and 7 or 8 times on BGA, and I'm like, man, I score 150 points every time.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like and there's always there's somebody that scores 100. I'm at 150, and then there's 2 people at 200 plus, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but okay, I'm done. Yeah, I get why it's a good game, maybe, but maybe it's just my mentality or how I play games, or where maybe I'm playing the same way, even though I think I'm trying to play differently. But I just can't seem to break that 140 to 160 range. And I'm like, well, how do people get 200? How is this?
My average score is 63, and my best score was 93.
I wouldn't say that out loud.
Here's Max Burns at 231.
Yeah.
And on that note, folks.
This is why Mosaic's better.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't think Tapestry is for me.
I wanted to comment on Res Arcana. It almost made it into my household because of as much as Mike and Rob talk about it. It almost made it. It was added to my buy list on Amazon. But when I went to go pull the trigger on it, Res Arcana on its own is $39 for a card game. And then you add the expansion, which Mike says is great, right? The expansion is important, I think.
You don't have to have the expansion, though.
No.
That's another $15.
Yeah. Expansion
right?
just gives you more stuff.
For less than that, I bought Mosaic. So it's
But you honestly, I mean, when I bought Res Arcana the first time, I think I paid less than $30 for it.
why the $38 for a card game?
You can find it cheaper.
You probably can, and I think it was a little under the radar for a while, and then it's been one that has been kind of a slow burn. That more people have seemingly liked it the longer it's been out. It's people are chatting about it, talking about it, and people are getting their second, third, fourth plays in, and I think people are liking it more and more. And so I think that probably has something to do with it.
I mean, when I picked it up, I think I picked it up in I didn't get it online. I got it in a local board game shop. Maybe it might have been Cool Stuff, but I got it for $30. So I don't know if maybe inflation or chalk it up to whatever you want, but.
Yeah.
Res Arcana getting props in here.
Of course.
Let's see here. Shogun getting props.
Yeah, she said, Elder Sign's on. Now, Sam, Elder Sign is just a dice chucker. It is, but it's a fun game. I mean, it's basically if you like Mansions of Madness and Elder Sign, Arkham Horror, any of those kind of things, but it is dice based. So it is a little bit, but it is a faster play.
And it's hard. It's hard.
It can be. I love.
I have never. I fell in love with it for its simplicity in play, but I never beat it. I've never.
Stuff. And the expansions are even harder because you have like, so the base game is you're in like the museum, and then you go to the streets of Arkham, and then you go to like Egypt, and you go to like Antarctica, and you go to on like the water, and so it gets crazy.
The only place I went in that game was Insane and lost a lot.
Yeah. I will say, so one game that didn't make my list at all was Terracotta Army.
Oh,
it didn't even make the falling off list.
No, it never even came close to the list.
It wasn't even a has been. It was a never been.
You could be wrong. It's okay.
Fell really flat for mine. The entire group. There was 4 of us for a game day, and we busted that game out. And afterwards, we were like, "Oof, this game's not very." Yeah, it just
things with you guys.
It just didn't hit so the storage. Oh, great! All the guys are stored in the little box. That's really cool, right? But just the gameplay just didn't hit at all. And I think what turned me off more than anything was the scoring, the end round scoring, where you either win or you don't get shit. And it was like,
but it says it right on the box. It's pretty easy to know that's the case. It says the back of the box.
It says win or don't get shit on the back of the box.
I hate like when you have end round scoring and it's like, well, one person gets it or no, and everyone else gets nothing.
I thought that was first and second. I think you score first.
I don't think so. There's several, or
I'll double check, but hopefully y'all didn't do that wrong. But yeah, I thought it was first and second. But,
maybe I don't know.
So,
but it was the scoring was, and it was like literally like 4 rounds, like 3 of the 4 rounds, I was like 1 point away from scoring and didn't get anything. So it was like I spent the entire round building up and came 1 point short of scoring anything. And it happened to several people. Like it just kind of hit flat. It was. It was, maybe another play might change it, but there was enough other games in that genre or that with those mechanics where that just didn't, I don't know.
I loved all the different mechanics of that one. So it was a hit for us, me and BJ and a couple other people played it at Dice Tower when it was just come out. And it was a big hit for us.
I was hoping it would be because everyone was hyping on it, but I think also though, no one's talking about it 6 months after it came out. So
no, I haven't heard much about it recently. No,
I just remember when it did hit, it hit hard. Like I think Wayne, you were like so close to pulling the trigger on that.
I'm buying it because it was like, it's just all you store all the minis upside down in the scoring thing, and there's
content creators were talking about how great it was,
and 6 months later, a year later, no one's talking about it. So
interesting. I'm looking forward to playing it again. So maybe we'll have to find a copy and play it sometime.
I will gladly try it again. I will always try a game again. It just after playing it that one time just left a sour note. I'm like, man, that sucked. I spent this last hour and a half playing this game, and like 3 out of 4 times, I'm like, oh, I'm going to score all these points. Oh, you're 1 point short, and you get nothing for that. I'm like, okay, great, thanks, appreciate that. So. Yeah, hopefully I'll gladly play it again. Let's find a copy and play it again.
Well, thank you for sharing your list. Great to see you creating a ranking board over there. Look for Mike next week.
Mike's next week. Yeah.
Next week's you.
There you go.
You know what? The funny thing is this year, I know we're already into March. I may not even have 20 games that I've played this year so far.
That's all right.
I've just been so busy, but
rank what you got. We'll critique them. We'll tell you where you're wrong.
By the time we get done with this year, you'll have your 20.
Yeah.
I'll have my 20 by the end of the year. I'm sure you guys can.
And then we can actually publish our video where we get a little deeper in our 20.
Yeah.
We could be like all the other content creators and have our top 20 games.
There you go. Yeah. I'm sure you can pick a few games that are already going to be on that list regardless, but anyway. I know we're over the 2 hours.
Yes, brings us to 2 hours. We're almost right on 2 hours. We started a few minutes late.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome, Carlos. Get your shit together next time. Yeah.
You win or you don't get shit.
Yeah, okay. You're not first, you're last, Carlos.
Hey, we were past 11 o'clock when I started dropping the
Anyway.
All right, folks, we will catch you all next week for more nonsense here at the Beans and Dice studio and Beans and Dice West over there with Mike Lorenzo. And our Lutz partner over here, Wayne Kruger at the Kruger household. Wayne, enjoy your trip next week.
Yeah, tell us all about it when you get back.
You got games that you're taking and hoping to play?
Taking Ticket to Ride London, at least.
My man.
That in London, and then probably a couple other games we'll see. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm hoping to find a Games Workshop store.
Oh, man. Pictures.
Cool. Yes, definitely.
Pictures.
Yep.
We are the Beans and Dice Podcast. We're a podcast about how we game. Thank you for watching. We will catch you all next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Happy gaming.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.